Mississippi Valley State's Delta Devils, as it is a great day for football. Could have some rain a little bit later on. Welcome inside the booth here at Nissan Stadium. Dan Lang alongside the former Titans receiver
How you
Chris
doing, my man?
Sanders.
You doing good? Good
nice
to see
to be
you,
back
man.
for
Yes,
another
sir.
campaign. And, every time you look at this time of the year, optimism reigns supreme. It's week one for both these teams, and so everybody thinks this is their year.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you look at the Tigers, when they went against Notre Dame, they had a great showing, and then in the middle, they played well, but then you lose your last 3 games. You better believe that Eddie George and his staff has a bad taste in their mouth, so they're going to come out fired out defense, offense, and special teams because I know how Eddie George is.
And as for Mississippi Valley State, they're coming off a campaign with just one win, but their coach and everybody there, look, with this day and age of transfer portal, they have some new pieces, and they're excited.
Yeah, they have some new pieces, but the thing about it is they're a 1-10 team. They lost a lot of games, but I guarantee you they have a lot of talent. I watched them on film. They got some skill. They got a quarterback that's big and physical that can come out and make some plays. So the Tigers got to come out and play fast defense, offense, and say, you know what, we got to go out and do our job.
Record could be a little deceiving. We'll have to see here today how it all pans out, as there you see the head coach of the Tigers in his 4th season, Eddie George. He was of course, Heisman Trophy winner and patrolling the sideline. Says this is the deepest team that he's had here. He says every room, every group of players that he looks at, he's pleased with the depth. And he said confidently, I can say that. And he said in the past, there were some pieces where you kind of go, okay, we may have to get by.
Yes.
He said this year, he's confident the next man up mentality is there for this team. If something happens, that next guy can fill in and do well.
Yeah, they have a lot of positions. They have a lot of depth. I mean, look at the running back position. You got Gant, you got Rouse, guys that can make plays. But at the end of the day, you can have all the talent on offense, defense, and special teams, but everything has to be intentional. And if it's not intentional, it's not going to work.
And you'll take a look at the Mississippi Valley coach, Kendrick Wade, in his 2nd season. Wide receivers really is his point, his specialty. And, I spoke to him yesterday, pretty pumped about getting things going, saying he's sick and tired of practicing against, the team, against everybody, against one another. And so they are ready to get things headed out in the right direction. And, he said that there were some plays last year. They could have easily gotten a few more wins. He said not necessarily would it have been a hugely successful season, but 1-10 may not have been truly indicative of the level of play that they put forward.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are hustling every play. I watched a receiver. When you all watch the receivers, you watch them get the ball in their hand, they're going to make some plays. But it all starts with the quarterback, with Jairus Williams. He's 6'3", 240 pounds. He makes some plays. He's good, looking at his different reads. He's a guy that could beat you deep, so be careful with the quarterback and those wide receivers.
Theron Johnston is deep for the Tigers, 5'9", 180-pound senior, and we are underway the football season between the Tigers and the Delta Devils. Out the 19-yard line is where Tennessee State will begin their offensive push to the season. So an emotional time here for Tennessee State, as during the offseason, Shazan Page, who was an upcoming senior, was killed in a hit-and-run accident. So what the Tigers are going to do is have the first play without a center. And you can see the players looking up to the heavens in remembrance of Shazan Page. He saved his girlfriend in that accident as he was hit in a car crash. And Eddie George saying to me a couple days ago that they're dedicating this season to him, not just this game, but this season to Page. Not just a very good, talented player, even more so a great guy.
Yeah, just an unselfish guy. Everybody talks about him being a locker room guy, and that's what you want in the locker room. It just breaks your heart that, he had to die like that, but it just shows you the heart of the man by saving his girlfriend. So they're trying to sort everything out. Now,
Blake Gamez is going to be the starting center
Okay.
for the Tigers, coming in from Northern Arizona. He's experienced, has over 600 snaps in his career. Ellis has a little bit of time, and he's going to go deep, firing it down the field, but way too strong on that one.
Yeah, that's just miscommunication with your quarterback and your wide receiver. Quarterback is looking downfield. You got a one safety high. When I say one safety high, that's one safety. You try to take the top off the defense. The receiver has to keep running around, and that's what we saw in this play. You got to keep going and throw it to where the receiver can catch it.
Now the Tigers do have a new offense this season that they've installed under new offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Travis Partridge. And it's a lot more playing to Ellis's strengths, as here he's able to dump it off to Johnson, who's tossed out of bounds. Actually, check that, Jalal Dean, senior from Tennessee Tech.
Yeah,
so a fresh set.
Yeah, and that's just what you want to do. That's just stealing right there. I mean, that's just kind of like 7-on-7. You throw it to your wide receiver, let him make plays, and now it went from 2nd and long to now 1st and 10. So that's exactly what you want with your offense.
Ellis, of course, we've seen it last couple years, a guy that can both run and pass, and saying that this system plays to his strengths much more. As there you saw Jordan Gantz with a pickup.
You know, I really like Gant. I mean, this running game is going to be something special. I mean, if you look at Gant last year, we had 10 TDs. You got Rouse who had 2. So you have a two-headed monster where guys can come in and make plays and also get a rest.
Couple receivers to each side. And speaking of Rouse, that'll be to Davis.
Yeah, I mean, and you have situations like this to where you want to stay in front of the chains. You just look at the wide receiver. He just runs a slant. He throws it to a pocket to where he catches the ball. But I think as a wide receiver, you want to catch the ball cleanly so you can get upfield. And when you have a situation like that, from being 2nd and long to 3rd and short, this is what you do to put your offense in position.
C.J. Evans, the running back in the game right now, a guy that the coaching staff extremely high on. Ellis has some time, dumps it off again, and some real stick-to-itiveness there for the Tigers. As Bryant Williams.
Man, just a great job. I mean, you want to do that. Just a nice little shuttle cross, get the ball into your playmaker's hands. I mean, those are the type of plays that you want to make, and it's about moving the chains and staying in front of the chains, and that's exactly what we saw in the play.
So it's a methodical move so far for the Tigers offense. And they're fine with that.
Yeah.
They can do methodical, and they said also they want to have some explosive plays. Here they have one across the middle, down to the 30, to the 20. There's some daylight to the 5, and pushing into the end zone. A touchdown for the Tigers on the first offensive possession of the year.
Man, that's just a great job. We always talk about RPO, and what the quarterback did is that he put the ball in his pocket, the linebackers came up, and you just put the ball in your receiver's hands and they make plays, and that's exactly what you want to do. You start off the series with a touchdown, you get the crowd into it, and everybody's excited. Great job by the quarterback, great job by the wide receiver, being in sync. And
Jalal Dean was able to haul that one in. Saw him a couple times on that first drive. 6 foot, 190-pound senior from South Carolina. Now James Lowry is on for the extra point. As it is up, it is through, and so the Tigers begin it with a 7-0 lead here over the Delta Devils.
Yeah, you know what I'm impressed about is just how comfortable Ellis looks in the pocket.
So we'll be back with more right after this.
Get up! Come on, dude! Come on, dude! Come on, Jaleel! Come on, Jaleel!
And the big game is the worst.
But none have been.
You to be the best you can be. Live your best life.
to Cameron Nelson. Nelson able to field it at the 5-yard line. Has a little bit of room as he pushes out to about the 25-yard line. But when we take a look at that Tigers drive to open up the game, we had 6 plays, 82 yards, capped by that 55-yard touchdown pass from Draylon Ellis to Jalal Dean.
Yeah.
So pretty much exactly what we were told is what we saw. We saw some explosiveness, and we saw him get it done in 2.5 minutes.
I mean, but I just want to talk about how comfortable Ellis looks in the pocket. I mean, he just sitting back there eating a sandwich, just kind of chilling. But then you talk about the big nasties in the front. You got Smith, you got Meadows, you got Freeman. Guys that are keeping their quarterback clean. And that's
I was going to say,
what you want.
giving him time.
Giving him time. That's what you say. You got to give him time.
Yep. Mentioned how the Delta Devils are coming off a season at 1-10. There's the handoff. Bouncing out to the outside near midfield before finally being brought down. Let's take a look at our Impact players, which are presented by Jostens. Jostens, the official recognition company of the OVC.
Yeah, I mean, I love the quarterback, Tijarius Woods.
Easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say. But I love what he is. He's a big quarterback. I mean, he's big. He can run the football. He can do the inside zone reads. That's exactly what you need a quarterback. Then you have Draylon Ellis on the offense. We just saw what he did on the prior series. He did a great job by leading his team to a touchdown.
5 receivers out there for Mississippi Valley State. That one a little high to Kendrick Ross, who they're high on. He had 3 touchdown catches a year ago. Really looked at, Coach Wade told me yesterday, a glue guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy that they really look to, can do everything, and he's a leader. He's a senior, 5'11", $185.
Yeah, I mean, you want those guys on your team. When you're a quarterback and you're looking for a wide receiver, you want a receiver to be in the right spot, and that's exactly what we see with these guys. Don't look at their record. Look at now, because it has some explosive players on the perimeter.
2nd down and 10 from their own 49. That's the Delta Devils. A little handoff. Trying to get it to midfield, but there you see that big defensive line for the Tigers stepping up. You know, you take a look, we had mentioned in the open a split second about the transfer portal, and one of the big subtractions for the Tigers was Terrell Allen. We'll get another chance to look at that play, and then we'll talk about Allen.
Man, that's just a great job by this defense. The defense is clogging
Swarming.
I mean, that's what you want. You know Brandon Fisher, Coach Fisher's son. I used to play for his dad. But he's going to have a defense flying around, physical, attacking the gaps, and that's what we're going to see all day with this defense.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 10. Under some pressure. Williams under a lot of pressure, and he's going to be brought down. Loss of about 9 yards on the play.
And that's just a great job by Brandon Fisher. What he did is he sent some pressure off the edge. When I say send pressure off the edge, dog blitzes to get after the quarterback. And when you squeeze a quarterback like that and he's uncomfortable, he can't step up, make a plays, that's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you want your defense. Here we go. Look at the front. I mean, there's pressure. Dog blitzes coming everywhere. He has no place to step up and throw the ball. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. I don't care who you are. If you can't step up and make the play, if you can't step up in the pocket, it's going to be a long day for you.
Did you see who got in on that? Well, Eric George. Eric George action. Eddie's son.
Awesome.
Sophomore. One of the hardest workers
he is
on the team in the weight room.
He's big.
He loves that weight room, he said. So it'll be a 4th and 15. So they're going to back it up yet again. Back to receive for the Tigers will be Deron Johnson.
I really like that kid.
So far, so good. A nice start for the Tigers in this one, both on the offensive side of things and the defensive side of things. We'll see how the special teams goes. Johnson calls for it, and we'll field it about the 20-yard line, and that's when the Tigers offense will come back out on the field. And we'll have more after this with Tennessee State, TSU, up 7-zip.
Best man. And I think you having your big day during the big game is the worst. What, are you kidding me?
Physically, I'm right here. But mentally, I'm here. Yeah, I do. Come on, speed it up.
When all eyes are on you.
Hit harder. Go.
to Nissan Stadium here in Nashville, Tennessee, home to the Tennessee Titans and home to Tennessee State. The Tigers, Roar City.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing right now. I mean, you have your offense go out there and score on the first drive, and you have the defense, not a 3 and out, but 4 and out. So this is what the start that we talked about that the Tigers definitely want to have and definitely need.
Ellis handing off, nothing going there.
Yeah, they clocked up the hole. I like that play, but it's like a slow developing play. I mean, you're just sitting there waiting with the ball because, the zone read or RPO, but it just gives enough time for the defensive line to come up and get him, so it's kind of tough.
So it'll be a 2nd down and 10, so no loss on the play there on Gant's carry. Ellis sending a man in motion. Now keep it himself. Instead, looks to fire over, and that didn't fool anybody as Bryant Williams made the catch, but the Delta Devils were there with the stop.
No, they were all over that. And for that play to work, your receiver's got to block in the perimeter. And in a situation we have a receiver doesn't block, that's exactly what happens.
And there you take a look at the keys to the game. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. Designated drivers are the real MVP. If you've been drinking, pass your keys to a sober friend, because fans don't let fans drive drunk. And there you see the keys to Tennessee State. Be explosive and rotate the run. Both components we've already hit on a little bit, and that is that Coach Partridge, Coach George wanting to see the offense get big plays. We saw a big play turned into a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then rotate the run. We mentioned the depth that the running backs are and have for Tennessee State. And those are the 2 keys for the Tigers today, just to get everyone in, get everyone a little taste here week 1.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Coach Partridge that he got from UT Martin, if you look at what he's done, he averages 269 yards passing a game. And we just saw it on the first series with the Tigers, an explosive play downfield, and that's exactly what you want with your Tigers.
And the Delta Devils will be taking over when we continue from Nashville as the Tigers have that 7-0 lead over the Delta Devils.
CenterPoint Energy's newest generation of safe, efficient energy includes capturing and harnessing the natural power of pure sunshine. We are increasing solar in our balanced and reliable energy mix as we power our region with more clean, renewable energy. We're bringing a little piece of the sun to every home and business while reducing carbon emissions and helping create a cleaner environment. It's just a little something for your smart energy future.
He shoots, and he scores!
Back here in the Music City, where TSU has the 7-0 lead on Mississippi Valley State. Week 1, game 1 for both of these teams. Yeah, you need to say that because, of course, like everything, you keep adding. There's now a week 0.
Yes.
Why wouldn't there be, right? As Williams will quickly hand it off, and not much going there. Tigers defense swarming again and fired up for the big stop.
Yeah, they are. This is what I'm impressed with, this Brandon Fisher defense right now, the way they're tackling. I know we talk about fundamentals and things like that, and it sounds kind of corny, but look at the point of attack. Look at how the defensive end, your nose tackle, are consistently around the football. Look how physical they are. When you talk about a Brandon Fisher defense, they're going to swarm around the ball, they're going to run through your lips, and I just love what I'm seeing in these first 2 series.
Jalen Bell leading the way on that one, number 5 for the Tigers, 6'1", 280-pound graduate out of Detroit, Michigan. Here Williams able to look over, but not able to complete the pass.
Yeah, I mean, and I love what this defense is doing, just like I talked about a little bit. When you have a situation to where you're getting the quarterback off his spot, when I say get him off his spot, you make him get off where he's standing at. So when you have a situation to where your quarterback is uncomfortable and he can't see the read, that's a great job by this Brandon Fisher defense.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 11 for Mississippi Valley State as they try to get their offense clicking a little bit with TSU out in front. Williams dumps it across the middle. Gain of a few yards there from Nathan Rimbert, who's a sophomore out of the Sunshine State of Florida.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I love also about this defense is, you have the Devils that have a lot of formations. They run out 11 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight, and 3 wide receivers, 21 personnel. And I love the way they're adjusting to it. I mean, I know that sounds kind of simple and cliche-ish, but they're adjusting to every formation. Like right now, they're in 10 personnel, 1 back, 0 tight ends, and 4 wide receivers. And look at how Brandon Fisher and his defense adjusts to what they're doing.
And there's reason for cliches, right? As there's a whistle before the play went off, because cliches usually ring true.
They do. Now they jump off sides.
Right.
Yeah.
As there we see the refs discussing matters.
Is that George?
So that's going to go against Mississippi Valley State. It's going to move them back, and let's take a gander at the Delta Devils. Keys to the game, bounce back ability, and use your star. Keys to the game brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security. Designated drivers are the real MVP. If you've been drinking, pass your keys to a sober friend, because friends and fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Yeah, and they got to bounce back. I mean, just like what we talked about, you got to have your star players step up. You got Tajarian Williams, who's a big physical quarterback, but then you have Carrick Ross, who's your speedy wide receiver. He's got to get involved in the game more.
Calling for the catch and making it is once again Johnson for the Tigers, and TSU's offense will take over. So yeah, when we talk about bounce back ability, when I was talking with Coach Wade yesterday, he said the problem last year, the biggest issue they had was they would let one play lead into another play in a bad way, in a negative way. He said you have to, when you're playing, 3 to 5 seconds max. Yeah. And either way, if it's a good play or a bad play, but last year they let the bad plays especially seep into the next play, and it just steamrolled into a 1-10 season.
Yeah, you got to have amnesia, and we always talk about this because I coach football. I've been coaching for 19 years now, and the one thing we stress is finish, and that's exactly what this team is not doing. That's why they were 1-10, but this year they're stressing on finishing and making plays.
Here's Evans over a couple yards. So we're just talking about Coach Wade. There we see Coach George Eddy, 4th season here at TSU. Of course, 9-year NFL career, over 10,000 rushing yards, 68 rushing touchdowns. Coach's profile presented by Explore Evansville, where everything is in reach. Yeah. Explore Evansville, Indiana.
I love Eddie George. I played with him at The Ohio State University, and I played with the Tennessee Titans. But Ohio State. I'm looking at the stadium. Eddie George's pictures up there. It just shows you him barks on making plays.
Nice catch there for the Tigers. And again, off to the races here. Down to the 20, to the 10, and jumping into the end zone with a touchdown is Deshaun Davis.
And man, just an explosive play. And it was just very simple. He just ran a nice little shallow cross. And what Ellis did is he stayed in the pocket as opposed to taking off last year. Get the ball to your playmakers. And when you get the ball to the playmakers' hands, they make plays, and that's why we saw the touchdown. Look how comfortable he is in the pocket. He surveys, he throws it to the wide receiver, he beats the defensive back, and let's go make a house call, Davis.
Another explosive play, second one of the game. They only wanted 10 for the game. They said they'd be pleased with that. Here they already have 2, and we're not even to the 5-minute mark here in the first.
Yeah, but you love it. That's what you want to see. I mean, you're talking about, Coach Partridge, the offensive coordinator for the Tigers. He said he wants those explosive plays. Yep. You got 2 of them. We ain't even done with the first quarter yet. So that's exactly what you want.
And it's great because the guys obviously are buying into the new offensive scheme. Yeah. That's always a concern whenever you bring in a brand new coach. True. Of like, okay, how's this going to work? And not just a new coach, but a whole new scheme.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I love your terminology when you say buy-in. There's a lot of people buying because they have to. I think they're trusting in. There's the difference. When you trust in, we're trusting the process. Because last year, They bought in, but they lost the last 3 games. Now they're trusting in, and now they're coming to fruition what they're doing. See,
So it looks like a celebration penalty for Davis.
I think because he dove in.
Because he dove into the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, do you agree with that?
Puts a little dampener on that.
Yeah, it does.
I don't in that regard because the guy was right behind him, a couple paces. What do you think?
I mean, yeah.
We'll take another look at it. Let's see how it goes.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a penalty, but if he was taunting the other guy, yes, I would call it a penalty. I think he's just having fun.
Right.
And I'm not saying this to pros or anything. Everybody's different. But, you know, if they don't get a touchdown, you might see Eddie George grow hair right here because he's going to be excited. He's going to be hot right now.
And bottom line to sports is you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. A guy.
There's Ellis. A little bit strong there as he was looking to the corner of the end zone. And Karate Brinson, who had a couple of touchdown catches a year ago.
Yeah, we got to get him going. I mean, last year he had 277 yards, 2 TDs, but he needs to be a big play guy right now. He really does. I mean, you've been here a couple of years. You need to step up and make some plays, and he's got to start doing that.
So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 with the ball on the 16-yard line. You can see Eddie George a bit disgruntled as he stands there. Here's Ellis, has a little bit of time, dumps it off there to the middle, pushing down to about the 2-yard line is Johnson. He's been a busy guy here early on in this game.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Devils are playing man-to-man coverage, and all it does is be man-to-man coverage. Look at him. He sits in the pocket. He throws it, a simple throw. Let your playmakers make the play, and you got Johnson that's been killing it today. So you just keep doing that. Let him make plays because those are the guys you need to make those plays.
Here's Ellis. Gant also in the backfield with him. Ellis quickly firing, and that's going to be knocked away. Was looking over there to Jalal Dean.
Yeah.
Number 44, the neutral zone at the snap. Half the distance penalty, 1st down.
Yeah, that's a gimme right there.
So you get half the distance. Moves the Tigers up a bit. Now Ellis peering back over toward the sidelines.
Yeah.
Gant remains there with him as the Tigers look to push this one in. The handoff goes to Gant. And the Delta Devils able to get in there.
Yeah, they just ran an inside zone play, and you had too many guys there. I think for me, I would have pulled it. But you got to get in the end zone. I know the last penalty kind of put a damper on things, but I think Eddie George will get a little more excited if they punch it in. But if they don't, it's going to be a long day.
Jordan Montgomery in there on the stop for Mississippi Valley State. Checking into the game, Jalal Dean.
This is where Karate Brinson needs to come to play right here. You got a short corner down at the boundary, and you run a fade.
And that's going to go off the fingertips, but able to grab it back is Gant and into the end zone.
Great job. Sometimes it's good to be lucky. I mean, he just threw a little flare around to him. He bats it up, he catches it. But even though that's not a play down the field, it's still an explosive play like what we talked about.
Little focus paying off for Gant.
Yeah.
Stick-to-itiveness. Tigers get their 2nd TD. Watch it.
Yep. I mean, that's just a great job. I mean, sometimes you're lucky. But just like I said before,
it almost looked like maybe he tipped it himself, like knew that he wasn't maybe going to be able to grab it, maybe tipped it up thinking like I can motor ahead a little bit. I don't know.
Zero chance.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. That's the broadcaster versus the player there. I get it. No, 100%. Here's Lowry as he'll be able to put it up and through. So the Tigers end up with the touchdown despite the penalty, and it's a 14-0 TSU lead here in Nashville.
Higher.
none have been bigger than the ones. Proud to have raised.
Mr. Gantz, Jordan Gantz, who just got that last touchdown. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with this year, named to the Black College Football Player of the Year Award watch list by the Black College Football Hall of Fame. Earned second team All-Big South OVC and freshman All-American honors last year. Started 7 games a year ago. So a dude to be reckoned with, and we've seen it here this afternoon.
Yeah, he is. I mean, look at the statistic he had last year. He had over 500 yards, 10 TDs. So he's one of those guys that's explosive. It's not just having the big runs all the time. It's about 15 here, 13 there, making big catches, making a touchdown. That's what you want out of your running back.
And that's what they've been able to get so far. Look at that last drive summary. When they're able to push it in, Tennessee State able to get it in there on a 1-yard pass to Gant. I thought that was a 2 or 3 yard pass. But anyway.
Yeah.
But they're giving it one.
They're giving it one.
It's cool.
Yeah.
He'll take it.
I'll take it all day, every day.
So 14-0. TSU has the lead. Eddie kind of smiled when I was talking to him a couple days ago. And, last year, they opened up against Notre Dame on the road.
Oh, man, that
was a monster.
But even though they lost, they gained experience.
Oh,
I mean, when you're going against 100%. A powerhouse team like that, it shows you can play with anybody in the country. So now, even though it didn't show last year, it's showing up this year because they're a totally different team.
A little bit of space here. Nice stop. In on that, Dion Villiers.
Yeah. And one thing I love about it, we always talk about, the defense rallying to the football. I mean, when I look at the running back getting tackled, there's 4 or 5 hats around the ball, and that's what a Brandon Fisher defense wants to do. They want to be fast, they want to be focused, and they want to make sure they're around the ball.
Williams tries to go deep, looking for an answer, and just overthrows his man as he was looking there for Nathan Remberts. You mentioned Williams last year, over 1,100 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, but also 6 interceptions. Yeah. And he said that one of the things he's worked on, we talked about being one of the keys to bounce back ability. Coach was talking about it more as a team, but Williams said him as a player needs to do that and is doing that. It's a 3rd down and 7 here for the Delta Devils. Tigers trying to get the crowd behind them. Williams has some time here and has a man, and again, just overthrows. That was Cameron Gardner, 6'4", 220-pounder. As we'll take a look here at Kendrick Wade in his 2nd season at Mississippi Valley State. Played there, said he always knew he was going to be a coach. Yeah. Said he always had that in his blood, really wanted to do that, thought he had it in him to do that. And I said, did you always have your eye on going back to your alma mater? He said, I knew what was going on there. He said, yeah, I had my eye on it. And so here he is as the head coach at his alma mater.
And that's great to go back to your alma mater. I would love to go back to Theo House University, but to go back to your university and go back and really help, not just coach the kids, but just, develop guys.
Out to the 45-yard line is Johnson yet again. Coach's profile, by the way, presented by Explore Evansville, where everything in reach. Explore Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah, I like what, Kendrick Wade is doing. I mean, look at the guys he developed. And look at the quarterback, Chajarian Williams. I mean, look at what the guys that they're producing. Last year, he was up for the Jerry Rice Award. And when you have situations like that and you're developing players that quality, it's really, really good.
Today the play, be 1st down, Tennessee State.
Well, and the other thing that you can look at is that first year, and really the first couple years, those aren't your guys as a coach.
Right.
You're coming in, and a majority of those guys, again, everything's changed with the transfer portal and how all that works, but the culture, the overall, I mean, it's a big thing to come in and overhaul a program in 1 year. It doesn't happen in 1 year.
I mean,
it's
really,
a process.
Yeah, it is a process. You said the word that's so profound is culture. Not just culture, but building identity. So you want to get guys that fit the mold. It's kind of like having a puzzle. You got to put the right pieces in place. You can't have other pieces in place of the puzzle. You got to make sure you get your pieces to fit your puzzle and the identity of your team.
So it'll be a 1st down and 10 for TSU on the Delta Devils' 49-yard line. Here's Ellis. Looked right, now goes left up and is not going to be able to get that one complete. His receiver got a little tangled up.
Yeah,
Good defense.
That's just a great job by the defense. I mean, when you got cover three, when I say cover three, it's thirds in the back end. And as for me, if I'm the quarterback or wide receiver and he bails like that, I'm stopping at 15 yards. I think that, with your offensive coordinator with Partridge, if he starts to see that and he goes into halftime, that's where you got to make the adjustment.
And adjustments, of course, it's the game of college football.
Oh, my gosh.
But even more so with so many new faces in week one. Fighting his way there for a gain is Dean, Jalal Dean.
Just watching this offense, I mean, they're just taking what the defense is giving them. When you're playing off coverage, 5 and 6 yards, I'm just going to dump it to my receiver and let those guys make plays. I mean, it's basically like 7 on 7. I mean, if I'm off coverage, I catch the ball and I got 5 or 6 yards and you're standing in front of the chains, that's what you do when you're running your offense.
And they've been successful with that so far. 14-0 lead. A little less than 3 minutes to play here in the first quarter.
It's the first quarter still?
It is. Come on, you're having
a blast.
Fun.
Absolutely.
Here the handoff goes to Gantz. Gain of a couple of yards. Actually, check that back. That's Evans that is in there.
That's that power football we're talking about.
Yep.
I mean, I just love it because it's like we're running inside zone and running straight through your lips, and that's what you want, because you're starting to see when the running backs are running the ball, you're starting to see a little Eddie ball. When I say Eddie George ball, that means I'm making one cut and I'm running through your face, and that's what you're seeing when you got these running backs running.
Evans now rolls out. Ellis now motioning for him.
What?
Come back a little bit. No, not quite that far. And now they're going to talk things over.
First timeout. Tennessee State, 30 seconds.
So the Tigers want to discuss matters here, up 14-0. Rain was supposed to be major player today. Now, hopefully I haven't jinxed it. We have 2 minutes, just north of 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Supposed to be rain, lightning, the whole bit, all afternoon today.
Oh.
We've been not lucky so far.
Keep knocking on wood, knock on wood.
As we'll take a look at the series history presented by ServPro, the official restoration services of the OVC. And there you see the John Merritt Classic history. First game back in 1999. John Merritt coached here at Tennessee State University for 20 years, 1963 to 83. College Football Hall of Famer, class of 94. 10 seasons, lost 1 game or less, 5 undefeated campaigns, 7 HBCU titles. Big John, they called him. Here's Ellis, and it's going to be picked. There's some space.
You got me screaming.
And there to grab it, number 14 for Mississippi Valley State. Raphael Marshall, another look at it.
But see, we can't have that. This is on the receiver. You got to get your head around quickly, because the thing about it is you got Ellis that's getting the blitz. Everybody's in his face. So as a wide receiver or a tight end, I have to get my head around. And you can see by looking at the tight end's face, he didn't get his head around.
Well, but also didn't he throw a little bit behind him? How tough is that in that instance where you throw it a little bit behind you to...
Yeah, he has to throw it behind him because he don't want to get smacked in the face, because there's a guy waiting for him out there. So as a quarterback, he did a good job on that aspect. But as the wide receiver, I got to get my head around because the blitz is coming.
Best field position of the day for the Delta Devils. Williams is going to be brought down. Now it's going to be taken away. Going the other way. Off to the races and into the end zone. That's Micah Gay. He had a strong spring and able to make his presence felt. So Williams had the ball taken away.
Yeah,
Gay off to the races, and here we'll take another look at it.
That's just a great job by your defense end. Watch how he swipes at the bar. It's not about tackling. Hey, that's George. That's Eric George. Great job. But here's what I love about the technique that we stress all day long. You swipe. You don't tackle the quarterback. You swipe, and then you let Gay scoop and score. This is Brandon Fisher football, and we're seeing a great display of this.
Indeed. So we've seen 3 touchdowns now for Tennessee State, and here we'll see Williams. He was hit hard on that play, and we saw him go down, and he's coming off the field with some help. As Lowry will look to add to the Tigers' point total here. And it's up and it's good. So it's a 21-0 Tigers lead here over the Delta Devils in week 1. Here we've seen the Tigers get it done on offense, get it done on defense.
Yeah.
They've been swarming on the defensive side of the ball.
But you know what I've learned just looking at the first couple of series? This is a tight-knit group, and I'm going to tell you why. Last year, if they threw the offense threw an interception, you would see the defense kind of get upset. The defense ran on the field. After that, didn't point fingers. They came up and get a turnover, a scoop, and score. So it just shows you the maturation of the defense, the offense, and a united group, and that's exactly what Eddie George wants.
And the energy as a whole seems a lot different. Now, yes, true, you're going to sit there and go, well, duh, they're up 21-0. Sure, you're going to have more energy. But it does seem like there's a different energy here for TSU.
Yeah, but it starts with leadership. It starts with Eddie George. It starts with Brandon Fisher. It starts with some of these coaches. You got Richard McNutt. You got Seth Hesness. You got Clyde Simmons. You got Ricky Galvin, the wide receiver coach. Everybody has to be in unison. And watching it on defense, they're bringing it. And watching it on offense, the way the offensive line, the receivers are catching the ball. Ellis looks comfortable. Guys are making plays. Different identity, different focus, and good job.
There you see the first quarter summary, the 55-yard touchdown pass on the opening drive. Ellis 9 of 13, a $175. Pair of touchdowns. Also had that interception as there the ball be fielded at about the 2-yard line. Out to about the 30-yard line is where the Delta Devils will start their offensive drive. And there you see Gay with the old scoop and score, the fumble recovery. So 186 yards to 27.
That's a lot of yards.
It's a lot of yards. Here with a $136 still to play in the first.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you the identity of this team has totally changed. And you talked about it earlier that, it's a process and everybody buys in. But I think I want to take it a step further. Everybody's trusting it. Coaches have to trust each other. Quarterback has to trust the wide receiver. Defensive backs got to trust the front. So it's something special that's brewing with the Tigers.
Here the handoff. And a gain there of a few yards. Jaden Sisk is in to the game in place of Tajarian Williams at quarterback. Sisk, a sophomore from DeSoto, Texas. Last year was 3 of 3 for 10 yards, so obviously a very small sample size for him. We'll see how he does here as Williams is on the sidelines after taking that big hit just a few moments ago. High snap, handoff again on the ground, and not much going there for Zamarian Kendall.
Yep, I mean, that's what you do with your young quarterback. Just get a couple of first down, let him get his feet wet, and that's exactly what's happening on this play. But here's what I want to see the maturation of this Tigers team is. Last year they would get up on teams, but then they'll let the teams come back. This is where you see a mature team if they start to dominate from start to finish and not let a team like this back in. Whoa.
Sisk's throw high.
Yeah.
And also you want to take advantage of the Delta Devils with another quarterback in there.
Yeah.
See if you as a defense. There you see Coach Wade.
I mean, he's frustrated right now. I mean, you had opportunities to where, you get a turnover, then all of a sudden you get a situation to where you turn over the football again. So he's frustrated right now, but just like what we talked about last year, even though they were 1-10, there's still a team that's not quitting.
And that says a lot about the coach. Here the handoff and a gain of a couple yards. Bell with the tackle. He's going to be one of the forces to be reckoned with. 6'1", 280
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 18 seconds. Start on my signal. 18.
So add 7 seconds back to the clock. They want 18 on it here. on a 3rd down and 9 for Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah, you mentioned Jalen Bell. I mean, I love what he does, and I'm not going to steal your thunder when you met with, Coach said he's a game changer. Mm-hmm. It's not that he might not have all the stats and all the sacks and all that, but he's consistent around the ball, and he's consistently making plays, so that's why you call him a game changer.
And he's going to get big chance this year. Last year had a couple tackles for a loss, a couple hurries.
The end of the first quarter.
And the first quarter
Time out on the field.
comes to an end here in Nashville as Tennessee State is up big, dominating the Delta Devils.
Over the years,
Coverage.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive.
For Tennessee State over Mississippi Valley State in the John Merritt Classic here in the Music City. Both of these teams playing their first game of the season. First quarter dominated by TSU's passing, 175 yards to the 7 yards for Mississippi Valley State. When you take a look at what Draylon Ellis was able to do for TSU, 9 of 13, couple touchdowns, did have that interception. And Eric George leading the way in the defense with 4 tackles so far.
Yeah, you're just looking at a clean game on both sides of the ball. You got the defense flying around. You got Ellis making plays. You got your receivers all over the place making explosive plays. Great start for the Tigers.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 9, and immediately flag thrown up.
Offense, number 8, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that's called on Tenoris Brookins II. Again, you can see the frustration there on Coach Wade. 18th head coach in program history.
Yeah, I mean, he is frustrated. I mean, you got guys out of place. You got the defense giving up explosive plays. You got your offense, to where you're making penalties. I mean, a coach is going to be frustrated because you're not having a clean game.
So it'll now be a 3rd down and 14. Sisk almost threw a pick there. You can see there the frustration from Malik Ganaway.
Yeah, I mean, just a great job. When you talk about reading your keys, and the offensive line didn't even get off the ball because they know it was a screen. But that's why you talk about a smart defense. When you have guys reading their keys, when I say reading their keys, that means it's giving away on a certain play they're going to run. Just great job by Brandon Fisher, by getting these guys ready, by making sure they're in the right spot, physical, fast, and I love what they're doing.
Alexander Davis on to punt for the Delta Devils. Back to receive is Deron Johnson. Last year averaged over 8 yards a punt return.
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
So another hiccup there for Mississippi Valley State, this time on special teams. I mean,
Yeah,
you can see the frustration there. Now it looks like more fired up.
I mean, it is because there's no rhythm. When you have penalties and have things like that, you just don't have no rhythm on offense and defense, and that's why it's 21-0 Tigers.
Johnson will let this bounce. It'll take a Delta Devils bounce to about the 30-yard line is where TSU's offense will take over. Mr. Ellis, there you see him, number 1. He talked about pocket presence was his biggest growth part of this last offseason. And we've seen that. Of course, you have to play that with the offensive line because they have to give you time. but he said that pocket presence he feels a lot more comfortable, confident in, and it's worked so far here.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. And you just said a couple of words that are so profound. He's comfortable. When you're comfortable as a quarterback, you're going to make the plays. But here's the thing that I love that he's doing is he's understanding where the blitz is coming from. If they're playing zone blitz or they're doing a cowboy blitz, that a cowboy blitz is blitzing with the corner, he's just taking what the defense is giving him.
Ellis here able to complete a pass, as that's going to be Dean hauling it in. He's had a pretty good game so far. That's his fourth catch, over 80 yards.
And here's what I love about the offense also. They're keeping Ellis in the shotgun. I mean, what does he do well? He likes to get in the shotgun to where he can survey what's going on in the secondary. If you look at the secondary right now, they're playing like a cover 4. And what he does, after he says that, then he kind of makes a mistake. But he's still
able to move out and find his guy.
Yeah, but the one thing I love about he does, he just keeps his eyes downfield. I mean, he looks like a totally different from quarterback to last year. I mean, watch what he does on the video. I mean, he scrambles. Look at his eyes. Eyes are continuously downfield. He throws the ball where only the receiver can catch it. Great catch by the receiver, and that's exactly what you need, Mr. Dean.
Poise and confidence. That's what we're seeing so far from Ellis here early this season. Huge piece to TSU's puzzle, obviously.
Yeah, and if we'd have looked at last year, what would he have done last year? He'd have ran the ball. But what he did is he let the play develop. Keep your eyes downfield. Throw it to the wide receiver, and you can tell he's been coached right. I mean, there's a lot of mechanics that he didn't do last year that he's doing this year that makes him so special.
And also, last year with the moving in and out of a couple quarterbacks, you never really got into a rhythm as quarterback 1 or quarterback 2 because it seemed like there was almost a constant movement. It wasn't constant, but there was a lot of movement within a game.
Mississippi Valley State is challenging the ruling on the field with a complete catch.
It looked like a catch to me. I'm a receiver, so I call it a catch.
Little bias.
Yeah, got to. But I agree with you. I mean, it's just, it's just totally different. I mean, just the whole offensive line. Offensive line has got bigger.
We're talking to Eddie George yesterday. He said the quarterback position structure is what it's about. We'll take a look at that last play and see if indeed it is a catch. Can't really get a good angle on it there.
That's tough.
Looked like it, but did not look like a trap there.
Let's see. Here's what's going to make the catch legal is look at his toes. The toes makes it to where he drags it. That's in. I mean, I tell my receivers, even if you're out of bounds, still drag your toes because it makes the referee think because you tapped your toes. So that's why they're going to give him this catch. Look how focused Eddie is. He's focused. He said, I ain't playing around with y'all this year. That's what you love. He's chewing the gum, and he's mad at everybody because last year he let some games slip away from him, but he said, not today on my watch, and that's why I love that guy.
4th year as head coach here at TSU.
The one thing I love about Eddie is he loves those kids. I mean, he's played football at the Ohio State University, played for the Tennessee Titans, so he understands how to build a team, how to develop players, and how not just be a coach to these guys, but be a father figure to these guys. So
mentor,
they're going to run through a while. Yeah.
Friend.
Yep. But then I got to
mix
get on
it all
still.
in. No, 100%. You got to mix it all in.
Yep. I mean, just like, yesterday, we played a team here locally in Nashville called Innsworth, and we got beat, and one of my receivers caught the football and fumbled at a crucial time, and he ran out the field with his head down. Immediately, instead of me yelling at him, I said, man, get your head up. This is a football game. This isn't a war. You enjoy what you've done. You've played it.
After review, the ruling on the field of a catch is confirmed. Mississippi Valley State is charged a timeout. They also lose the ability to challenge the remainder of the game.
You see Coach Wade there kind of shaking his head. I mean, maybe he's saying something a little sarcastic. The official kind of smiling, so who knows what Coach Wade said. But not really going his way here.
He's like, help me out.
Loses a timeout, the ability to challenge. His team's down 21-zip.
Yeah, I mean, they need something. They need something because I'm telling you, this offense is running on all throttles.
So it'll be a 1st down and 10 from the 46-yard line of the Delta Devils. Ellis with the cadence. Now the handoff will go to Rouse, trying to circle his way out of a bit of trouble, unable to do so. But it'll be a pickup of a few yards. Rouse, familiar name.
Yep.
back again this year. Did enter the transfer portal, but decided to return here to Eddie George's squad.
Yeah, I mean, great player. I mean, he averaged 4.1 yards last year, so he's still a big part of this offense. Glad that he stayed, so that's what you want to do.
Ellis able to find Dean. Pick up and fresh set.
Yeah, this is what I love about the situation. You got one-on-one on the outside. This is an easy read. He doesn't even look at the other reads. He just steps back door, gets the ball into the receiver's hand, and let him make plays. It's simple. It's cover zero. When I say cover zero, there's no safety help. He's doing the exact same thing. Surveys it. Great pass.
Did Charlie Williams on that last play, not the one we just saw, but the play before, the defender, give too much space there?
It's too much cushion, especially when you're going man-to-man cover zero, and it's 5 and 6 yards off. I'm just going to go 5 yards, catch a spin, and you're standing in front of the chains. I mean, that's just like basically 7-on-7.
Here are the Tigers moving quickly. Ellis now looking to the end zone, off the fingertips, and going there again for Dean. Unable to haul that one in, and there we saw Williams in tighter coverage.
Yeah, it was a tighter coverage, but I love what the receiver did. He tried to go up at the highest point and catch it, but the only thing that I wish he would do better is have your hands up a little higher. See how he kind of cradles the ball right here. If he puts his hands up at the highest point, you got to catch. That's football 101, but at the end of the day, you correct that, and let's go get that play next time.
So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 from the 16-yard line. Here's Ellis asking for it. Now he's going to take it himself, dance, move around a little bit on his feet inside the 10, down to about the 7-yard line before he's brought down. So the dual threat quarterback showing it off there a little bit.
Man, he's doing a great job, but I want to talk about the big nasties. They just ran outside zone. You got Smith, you got Meadows, you got Freeman. They're running to a gap. When I say running to a gap, they have gap integrity. And when you're opening up the hole for your running backs, I mean, it just makes it so well when you're standing in front of the chains. I mean, I just love what they're doing. I mean, I love what they're doing. They're keeping them off balance. They're having different formations. You got 11 personnel, 12 personnel, empty. They're keeping the defense on their heels.
A little bit of that eye candy.
Yes.
Here the handoff. Gain of a few more yards there. This time, it's Jaden McGill.
There's a lot of running backs.
A lot of running backs. Keeps us on our toes up here.
Yeah, it does. But here's the thing that I love about the running backs. These guys run angry. I mean, you watch Eddie George. I played with Eddie George. Just like I said, I know it's a funny term. He's trying to run through your face. Look at these different running backs. They may not be big in stature, but they play physical and they run. They make one cut and go to dare you to tackle them.
1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Ellis sends a man in motion. Now hands it off. McGill forcing his way forward. Still on his feet. Trying to keep it moving. We'll see what they give him there. Massive humanity gets up.
It's some big boys, just like I talked about the offensive line. I mean, they're averaging almost 300. I know their center's 275 pounds, but they're physical at the point of attack. Their technique is different. You know, I know they got a different O-line coach this year. Mm-hmm. They just look different. They look confident. Everybody knows what they're doing. They're in the right spot. When they're running inside or outside zone, they're running to their gap. They're not false stepping. They're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're coached well, and they're a disciplined football team right now.
So it'll be a 2nd down and goal from the 1. 21-0. Tigers looking to add to it. Ellis, a little bit of low snap, and able to step back, has a little space, but not able to complete it, and there's going to be a whistle.
Yeah, I think that's roughing the pass or a holding. It's one of them.
Officials discussing.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, low hit to the quarterback, defense. Half the distance penalty includes an automatic 1st down.
Yeah, we just kind of look at it. We always talk about that different dual threat that he has. I mean, he can escape and do some great things, but as a player, you never want to go low down on a quarterback. That's just bad football. I don't teach that. I don't condone that. You got to stay up and play football. Don't go at the quarterback's legs. That's how guys get hurt.
So 1st and goal, less than a yard. We go back there with Ellis. Taking himself. Is he in? Tigers saying yes. Delta Devils saying no.
They thought it was 4th down. I don't think they're screaming 4th down.
So McGill,
Woo, he's a big physical back. Man, watch what I'm talking about. When he gets the ball, when you run this inside zone, he makes one cut and I'm gone. I mean, it just shows you, man, these backs are powerful.
so we'll try it again. McGill lining up there behind Ellis. Handoff yet again. And sniffed out there by Mississippi Valley State. A couple of them there in on the tackle.
Yeah, and we talked about their head coach. We talked about their coach, Kendrick Wade, talking about guys not quitting. I mean, look at the point of attack. These guys are still fighting.
Yes.
I just think the offensive line has to get a better push, and they didn't get a push on that one. But you want to take your hat off to Kendrick Wade, you know, the head coach of the Devils. They're still not quitting. They're down 21-0, and they're still fighting at the point of attack.
So here's a 3rd down and 3. Tip of the cap to Donovan Parham there to make sure that the Tigers weren't able to get into the end zone there. Rouse is checked in for TSU. Pass there, incomplete, as Ellis was looking for Jalen.
I think that's a situation to where you want to run the football because he's got to understand. I know he's still growing as a quarterback, and he's still got to know where his blitz is coming from. I know the defensive end came off the edge. He had to get the ball out quicker, but in that situation, I would have pumped it, scrambled, and have a chance to run it or throw it.
So it'll be a 4th down and 3 as James Lowry is on to attempt the field goal. 5th-year senior out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Last season, 12 of 15 on field goal attempts. This one is up, and it is good. So tack 3 more on to the Tigers as they have the 24-0 lead. Less than 9 to play in the first half.
Steps. Get in person and online. 125.com.
See Eddie George, he is a Hall of Famer twice over. College Football Hall of Fame 2011 and the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame back in 2013. So a 2-time Hall of Famer. There you go.
But you know, he's a Hall of Fame guy. I mean,
absolutely.
Love what he does. I know his son. He played at Montgomery Bell Academy, the school in Nashville, Tennessee. And, you know, just watching him, not just as a player, but watching him as a coach. When he first came into the situation, it was a little bit in disarray. But watching him develop players, I mean, he's a great guy. And
Tennessee State's offense scoring on 3 of the first 4 drives, couple touchdowns, field goal.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want. I mean, you scored, 24 points, and it ain't even halftime. I love what they're doing on offense. I love what they're doing on defense, but it totally looks like a different team. Offense is driving down the field. You got defense. Guys are flying around. That's what you want to see in the Eddie George team.
Little miscommunication there for the Delta Devils as Cameron Nelson falls on the football.
Yeah.
And so, timeout on the field. We'll grab it as well. 24-0. TSU in control. 9 minutes to play in the first half.
I'm your football-obsessed best man, and I think you having your big day during the big game is the worst. What, are you kidding me?
Physically, I'm right here, but mentally, I'm here. Yeah, I do. Come on, speed it up.
When all eyes are on you, my eyes are glued to the game. Touchdown, yeah. And if you didn't bundle your home and auto insurance, well, all of this could be tough to tackle. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Go further. What gets in your way? To be the best you can be.
Back here in the Music City, Nashville,
appreciate
Tennessee, 24-0. TSU, the Tigers up on Mississippi Valley State. And there you see disgruntled head coach Kendrick Wade.
He's mad at you.
In his second season as head coach. And good news all the way around to Jarian Williams, the quarterback. The sophomore is back. We saw him take a hard hit, missed a couple of series, but he is back for the Delta Devils, so that is good to see. He's a big piece to their puzzle, big heart and soul piece, good dude and big guy and big player. As the handoff here, short side of the field, gain of a few yards by Kendall.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I know this sounds funny, but this is still a crucial part of the game because if they score a touchdown, you put them right back in the game. So I think you need to start to see a mature defense say, you know what, I know we're up 24-0, there's 8:33 left in the quarter. We're going to make a stop, get our offensive ball back, and score another touchdown. That's when you see the maturation of your team.
Handoff here. Gain of a few more yards and a first down going back to Kendall, and why not? He just had a nice pickup, go back to the well.
Yeah, you want to go back to, you want to get some type of rhythm on offense. You run the inside zone, you get a first down on the first play, the second play, you're trying to stay in front of the chain. So it just shows you that this offense needs to get some rhythm. It starts with your quarterback, it starts with the second with your running back, and now get your receivers involved.
24-0 Tigers on top, less than 8 minutes to play here in quarter number 2. Williams shuttles it over, and Kendall, unable to field it cleanly, was behind him, and we'll see if the Tigers have it. They're saying they do. Real focus there by the Tigers. We'll see if TSU comes away with the football, still looking for the signal.
Yeah, and when you're trying to find identity of your team, you can't have mistakes like that. When you have a quarterback that flips the ball like that, I mean, look at right here. When you're trying to win ball games, you can't make mistakes like that. I mean, you got a running back that needs to catch the football. So if you don't have no type of rhythm, you're making mistakes, it just puts you deep into the hole for your offense.
So it's a 2nd down and 15 for the Delta Devils. Williams under some pressure, trying to dump it out, almost threw a pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want. I mean, I know it was a screen, but this is what I mean, I just said it a minute ago, that this defense isn't just fast and physical. They're smart football players. They sniffed a rat when they saw that the linemen were just standing there, and they just went after the quarterback.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 15. Williams getting the sign from the sidelines. Looking down the field, that's where he's going to go. Looking for the home run ball. And there's going to be a flag tossed. Was looking to Rimbert there.
I think it was great coverage. He was kind of like a wallet. He was consistently in his hip pocket. I mean, he was right there. But I think what the initial thing was is I think he tugged the jersey. So watching, look at the defensive back, and yep, the tug of the jersey right there. They're going to call that every single time. I mean, as a veteran, I know you can get away with it, but the referee was right there. I just think it's the correct call.
Boogie Trotter called on that. Junior.
Oh, I love Boogie.
Yeah, one of the big pieces to this TSU defense.
Yeah, last year
guy that has some experience.
Yeah, he's got a lot of experience. I mean, last year he had 7 tackles and a lot of breakups. I just love what he brings to this defense.
Here the handoff again. This time going nowhere is Kendall.
Man, it just, I tell you, I love this front four. I mean, when we talk about this front four, they are bringing it. I mean, you got guys that are swarming to the football. They're not tired, and guys are just, at the point of attack, they're consistently making the tackle. You got 4 or 5 guys around the ball. Led by Eric George. Love him. Son of Eddie George. I mean, just a guy that's developing to something special. I love his attitude. I love his work ethic. I love what he brings to the table. Never know, you might see him on Sundays just like his pops.
Hard worker.
Yes.
Wouldn't be shocked at all if that happens. So a 2nd down and 12. Williams completes the pass. Small gain there for Carrick Ross.
Yeah, that was just a slow developing play. I mean, you throw it to him, and you got 4 or 5 guys in front of you with a little inside route, but they're rallying to the football. And I just think that these corners, these safeties, these linebackers, we call it sick. We see ball, we sick ball, and that's exactly what we're seeing on every single play.
Cameron Blaylock hustling off the field for TSU. So it'll be a 3rd down and 8. As the Delta Devils look to try to keep the drive rolling. Nelson in motion. Williams, a little bit of time, throws it across the middle. There's Rembert. Down to about the 35-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to do to try to get back in this ball game. You get the ball into your playmakers. Just kind of watch. It's kind of like a little quick slant. He catches the ball. He goes north and south. Make a little move and make the defensive back miss. And now you got a little rhythm, but I think this defense needs to get a stop.
That's exactly what the scouting report said. He's quick and can change direction and create yards, and that's exactly what we saw on the play before this last one.
Yeah, I mean, just a great catch. And the thing about a receiver, he went north and south. And when you go north and south, you can see when the defenders are coming towards you. Make a little shake and bake, dive for the first down, and that's what you need for this Devils offense.
Bell in on the tackle there for TSU. So it'll be a 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to start right here. You got 4:18 left in the first half, and I think you want to hold them to a field goal or not give them any points or give them any life.
Here's Williams. He's under some pressure, and he's going to go down. The Tigers, again, all over him.
Yeah, they're just swarming to the ball. Look how many enemy guys are coming to the ball. I mean, look at the edge rusher. When we talk about a dog blitz is where you're blitzing off the edge. And when you're blitzing off the edge, the quarterback can't step up and make a play. And then also, when you're blitzing the A-gap, when I say the A-gap is between the center and the guard, the quarterback can't step up and make a play, and they're just consistently around the football.
Keandre Booker there in on the stop there, a guy that the coaching staff very high on. Throw there is going to go right into one of the Tigers' hands. And off to the races to the 40, out to about midfield before finally being brought down is Boogie Trotter.
Yeah, I mean, just a great job by Boogie Trotter by that defense. They are physical at the point of attack. And then I look at Brandon Fisher, the defensive coordinator. I mean, he's all over the place. He's yelling and screaming to these guys. See, this is where you're looking at an inexperienced quarterback. When you got blitz off the edge, you got to get the ball out quick. And that's just a great job by Brandon Fisher by sending pressure on the edge and making him cause that turnover. Just great job by the defense overall.
So the defense still pitching a shutout here with about 3.5 to play in the first. 24-0. Tigers on top, looking to start the season on a positive note.
Yeah. You think they're going to be aggressive? You think they should be aggressive and throw the ball downfield?
I mean, I do.
I would.
But,
I'm going for the gusto. I mean, right now, this looks like a running formation. You got, 11 personnel, 1 back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. So I don't know. They may take a shot because they're in like a stack at the wide receiver, so you never know what they're thinking.
Here's Draylen Ellis. He's got some time as he rolls out and completes the pass.
Davis. It's a great job by Davis. I mean, he just runs a little out route, get the ball turned up, and stay in front of the chains. But, just like what we talked about Ellis earlier in the broadcast is he's just getting the ball out quicker. He looks comfortable. He's rolling out. And just look at his body language. Last year, his body language showed that
he was a bit timid.
But now he looks confident. He's gotten bigger. He went from 185 to 186, so he's got a little bigger. So
got a little bigger.
Bigger.
There you go. Gained a pound.
Gained a pound.
I think that's one of those things you're thinking you're going to one area, you look down, you're like, oh, gained a pound. Cool.
Yeah, but he's taking ownership of this offense. I mean, look at his body language. Look what he does. He's taking command. He's doing what he's supposed to do.
Here the handoff.
Yeah, I mean, like what we're talking about right here is, is he didn't waste no time. He knew where the blitz was coming. He knew where the edge pressure was coming out. Tight end runs a little out route. He makes the play. That's a veteran quarterback, the maturation of Ellis.
Both in on that one for TSU. Another player that they're strong on, a returning player. Not much going there for the Tigers. Gans will come off the field. It'll be a 3rd down and 2. So a timeout on the field. We'll take it as well. 24-0. TSU up. 2 minutes to play in the first.
He shoots, and he scores!
The 1-1.
It's the excitement of the crowd, the crack of a... There's so much more.
In the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, site of our Week 1 contest. TSU all over Mississippi Valley State, 24-0. Couple minutes to play here in half number 1. And so far, so good if you're a Tigers fan, because they've dominated on just about every facet of this game. And there you see total yards, 271, edge to the Tigers.
Yeah, I love
almost 3 times the number of yards per play to TSU. And there you see the turnovers as well.
Yeah, look at it. He's going to throw it to the wide receiver at the top. I mean, this covers 0. Cover 0.
So 3-2, or 3rd down and 2, I should say. And the handoff will go up a couple of yards.
You know, if I'm looking at that situation, I know it's a minute and 46, and I know you don't want to be aggressive. You want to get some points to milk the clock. But if I got cover 0 and the defensive backs are in my mustache and try to jam into line of scrimmage, I'm taking a 3-step drop, and I'm throwing it to Karate Benson.
Looking over toward the sidelines, minute 25. So it'll be a 4th and 3. And now the timeout. So Eddie George going to situate everything here with a buck 15 to play. All Tigers so far here in Week 1 in Nashville.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help.
Part of that journey.
Order of the student.
Valley State's 24-0 with a minute 15 to play here in half number. Back here in Nashville, Tennessee State up on Mississippi Valley State, 24-0 with a minute 15 to play here in half number 1, week number 1. And there you see number 1, Braylon Ellis, who's had a nice first half. 16 of 23, 238 yards, pair of touchdown passes. So 4th down and 3. Here's Ellis. He's got some time.
Oh, nice
Looks
play.
to pass it. Finds his man. Off to the races and into the end zone. That is going to be Karate Brinson.
Yeah.
Able to score it and tack on some more to the Tigers.
Man, just a great job. I mean, it just shows you when you get your playmakers the ball, you just take what they give them. And we call this a sneak route. You just let them go in motion and leak outside. I mean, that's what you want to do. I mean, look at this play. Karate Brinson's comes across the line of scrimmage, catches the ball, and that's all she wrote. I've been waiting for him to have a breakout game, make some breakout plays. Jump over him, let's get in the end zone, touchdown, Tigers.
living up to his name there, karate.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi.
Showing some,
But
showing some
that's what we've
agility.
been waiting. He's a big guy. He's got to make some plays, and that's what this offense has been waiting. That's what you've been needing from this guy.
You asked for it about maybe an hour ago, and here he finally got it. Kick here is up, and it is good. So some more points for the Tigers. Now 31-0. Mississippi Valley State. And if you're the Delta Devils and you're Coach Wade, what are you thinking? What are you saying at this point with a minute to play in the first half, down 31-0?
You know what, as a coach, I'm not going to go in and start screaming and yelling because they know they made a lot of mistakes. But when you walk into the locker room, you're going to really see who's trusting in and who's buying in. Because right now, it's 31-0. If a guy comes out here with his body language and he doesn't want to play, he's missing tackles and yelling and all this kind of crazy stuff, then he hasn't bought in or trust him. But if he goes out here and fights to try to get back in this game, then you have something. Sure. Yeah, I'll talk about that. It's called a sneak route.
So back here to receive, number 13, Carrick Ross. One of the bigger pieces to Mississippi Valley State, looking to finish this first half on a bit of a positive note as James Lowry has been busy and kicks it off. And it'll be fielded at about the 10-yard line, out to the 20, and stopped there.
Gotcha. Let's just kind of watch this play, and this is just a great call by your offensive coordinator. Just watch the back. Everybody's going to go to the right, and here's a sneak route. We call it a sneak route. He's on the right. He goes to the left. He throws the ball. There's nobody there. Just a great call by Coach Partridge, the offensive coordinator. And when you have big physical guys like that, and you have everybody going away from the call, and he leaks out, it's an absolute great call. Touchdown, Tigers.
31-0 with 1 minute to play. So the Tigers are going to be aggressive this year, more aggressive even than in the past, and we've seen that here in half number one. We've seen it pay off.
Yeah,
just because you're aggressive doesn't mean you're going to be successful with it, but in this instance, so far in this game, it's worked for Tennessee State.
Yeah, but you got some playmakers. You got Dean, you got Karate Brinson, you got Rouse, you got Gant, you got a lot of players, and it just shows you just get the players the ball in their hand and let those guys make plays. And then, right here we got defenses that are flying around. It just shows you, man, this team can make a run in OVC.
Not much going there for Caden Betts out of Northwest Mississippi Community College.
Yeah, and just watching, we always talk about you got to win in the trenches. You got to win at the line of scrimmage. And this front of the Tigers, I mean, they are physical. They're on the point of attack. The Devils' offensive line has no idea what's going on. When you have blitzes and scrapes and all that stuff, they have no idea what's going on. And that's why this defense is doing a great job at the point of attack.
Williams asking for time. You can see the frustration there.
Third charge timeout. The half. Mississippi Valley State be 30 seconds.
Caden Betts seemed frustrated. You see him there talking with Coach Wade.
Yeah, he's mad at me and you right now. I mean, he's mad at everybody. If they had a mascot, they'd be mad at him too, because you got a team that wants to start off the season really, really well. But then you have consistent mistakes. You got turnovers. You got guys not, being in the right spot. So I understand as a coach, I'm frustrated. But at the end of the day, you got to go in the locker room, get your guys together, and come out fighting.
At the half, we hope to talk with former Oilers, Titans, and Rams coach Jeff Fisher. Hopefully going to be stopping by the booth to discuss matters. And there you see Draylon Ellis, junior QB, and what he's been able to do. 17 of 24, 269 yards, 3 touchdown passes, and a pick. Of course, he'd rather not have that pick, but other than that, a nice first half.
Yeah, I mean, he looks really, really good. Just like we said, he's 17 for 24, 3 TDs in the first half. I mean, he looks comfortable. He looks poised. He's making the right reads. I mean, you can tell that he's coachable and he wants to take this offense over.
There was Caden Betts again. And that is going to do it for half number one. Let's see a clap of the hands there from Coach Eddie George of Tennessee State. The Tigers up 31-0 midway through this one, week one against Mississippi Valley State in the John Merritt Classic. You can see the frustration there from Coach Wade. A little dancing for the Tigers. Some streaking. Tennessee State cheering and able to come away at the half with a big lead, 31-0. Back with more after this from the Music City.
For mayhem.
For education.
This year, we considered hiring an
Shelter Insurance has a
I'm a team mascot, and boy, am I running late. But I got lead in my foot and spirit.
Is walloping Mississippi Valley State 31-0, dominating in every category here in week one. Going sky high, just like that building in downtown Nashville, are the Tigers pouncing on the Delta Devils. 4 at halftime, right after this.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
they pitched impressive.
Run through your lips, tear your shoulder off, everything. So when you have a fiery guy like that, the defense is going to take on that coach's attitude. The minded coach, and you
football on ESPN Plus. Dan Lang, Chris Sanders, the former Titans receiver. Nice to have you with us here.
Appreciate you.
Week one, and I still hate to say it, but it's a nice day. So far, so good. I know they keep saying rain, but it's been fine so far.
It really has, because last week, man, it was 102, 103 degrees, man. It felt like I was in a safari somewhere. It was hot, but yeah, hey, good weather.
And here, it's going to be fielded and out to the 20, still on his feet, and adding a couple more yards there is Cameron Nelson before being brought down. You mentioned the heat and the humidity, and that's something else that Coach Eddie George of TSU said, that tip of the cap to his players, because he said they practiced outside. They have an indoor facility, but he said, let's go outside. Let's do this outside. Let's get used to it. Let's do it. Let's build. And And that's what they did.
Yeah, you have to do that. You want to put them in an environment to be successful. So what do? You practice in heat because you're going to play some hot games, and you got to make sure that you can adapt to that. But if you just stay inside and feel comfortable,
it's not all comfy.
It's not all comfy. You know, Twinkies and all that. You're going to come out here and get beat. But the one thing I've noticed is you can tell that the Tigers are in great shape because there's not a lot of guys cramping. There's not a lot of guys coming out because they practice in heat. Exactly what you just said.
Kudos to the strength and conditioning and training staffs here at TSU.
Great staff. Well-conditioned, physical. I mean, they even put a pound on Ellis. I mean, that
exactly
right there. They're doing a job.
So it's a 31-0 TSU lead here as quarter number 3 is underway. And with the ball, trying to cut it upfield, but not able to get enough of an angle there, number 13. That's Carrick Ross.
Man, just a great job by him. I mean, look at what he does. I mean, when you talk about form tag, you got a blocker that's trying to block him. What he does, he eludes the blocker and gets to, the receiver, the running back at the point of attack. So it just shows you guys are reading their keys. Guys are being in a position to be successful.
And Rufa's a smart guy. Came in from Lehigh, so Patriot League. Mountain Hawks, they used to be called the Engineers because they have a great engineering school up there at Lehigh. Pass complete. There you see that bulldog mentality again from who else but their glue guy, Carrick Ross.
Man, he just looks really, really good. But here's the one thing I love that he's doing. I keep talking about reading your keys. And, watch. He's sitting at 5 yards, and he's looking at the quarterback. If he takes a 1 or 2 step drop, he knows it's a quick game, and he breaks immediately because he knows if a quarterback takes a 3-step drop, he's not really throwing the ball deep.
As a coach, are you looking at a 31-0 deficit if you're Mississippi Valley State and saying, all right, you can't look at that. Let's just go out, play the half, start at 0. I know it's easy to say, but is that the way you try to coach that?
Yeah, you have to, because the thing about it is you just got to try to figure out to get back into the game because you're down 31-0. You got to keep chipping away. I know it's a long game, but I've seen some crazy, crazy games to where they come back.
How about the big fellow there, Cameron Blaylock, getting in on it, 315 pounds.
Whoa.
Look at him bust through and bring down Williams. Look at that. Nah, you're not getting away from me. Nope.
He is a big, big man, but the thing about it is when you have a big man like that can move, it just shows you that he's primed and ready to have a big season.
So there's a defender down on the field. Looks like it's Micah Gay, who is down. Eddie George, Brandon Fisher out, along with some of the training staff. We talked about Brandon for a minute with his father, Jeff. If you missed it, he just joined us at halftime. Yes, Jeff Fisher, former coach of the Oilers, Rams, Titans. Son Brandon, you see him there in the red shirt. 3rd year as the defensive coordinator here at TSU.
And he's doing a great job. I mean, when you have a dad that played for the Bears, can you believe that Jeff Fisher was a punt returner? He was actually a punt returner for the Bears. Wow. So when you have a defensive-minded coach and you leave a legacy to your son, it just shows you're seeing a little bit of Jeff Fisher on that football field.
Yeah, Brandon coached at Auburn and Southern Utah before coming here to TSU. Had 8 years as an NFL assistant. Also started a couple times for Montana in the FCS national title game. So long lineage of success for Brandon Fisher.
And just watching this, I know this is a little thing, but when a guy gets hurt on the field and your head coach comes out on the field, that shows you that he cares. I mean, I know it's a little thing. I know it's kind of corny or cliche, but look at the coaches that came out on the field. You had Joe Bowden, who I used to play with the Tennessee Titans. You got Eddie George and things like that. And you got Brandon Fisher out there, the defensive coordinator, who's done a great job for the years he's been there. I love the beard. I love the attitude that he brings. And the one thing I love about this coach, he's fiery. He's trying to run through your left, tear your shoulder off, everything. So when you have a fiery guy like that, the defense is going to take on that coach's attitude.
Really enjoy our game week meetings with Brandon. And when he breaks down the opponent and talks about his players, it's pretty much a no-filter situation. And it's great. It's great. It gives us lots of background knowledge. There you see Eddie George, also very generous with his time with us.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Eddie, just look at how focused he is.
Game face.
He's not playing around. And just watching him, he's paying attention. I know he's walking around and doing things, but he's paying attention to details. He's looking at, the opponents. He's looking at his players. He's making sure everybody's good. He's making sure the coaches are communicating with each other. So that's what you want in a head coach. And just like Jeff Fisher said, at halftime, that he's matured into a great head coach. And I think the Tigers have a great head coach in Eddie George.
Back to receive deep for TSU on a 4th and 4. is who else but Deron Johnson. Last year, averaged over 8 yards a return on punts. And Alexander Davis to punt it for the Delta Devils. Johnson at the 30-yard line is brought down. You can see the fire there. Yeah. Racing down, number 25, Bruce Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, even though the Devils are down 31-0, they're still hustling.
He's a freshman.
Freshman, yeah. I mean, even when you have guys like that freshman running down there to make a tackle and getting up and celebrate, not celebrating that you're winning, but celebrating that I made a good play, it just shows you that this Devils seems that they don't have a quit in them, and that's what you want to see in your players.
Night starting to fall here in Nashville. There you see Jalal Dean. Huge first half for him. 8 catches, 135 yards, averaging almost 17 yards.
Oh, you love that as a receiver. I mean, you know, you got 8 receptions, 135, averaging 16.9 a catch. So keep him involved in the ball game, and then also you have those other wide receivers.
Senior out of Williamston, South Carolina. Here's Ellis. He's got some space. Unable to complete it, though, to Deshaun Davis.
Yeah, that was just a little flat route to just made a communication. I think Ellis got flushed out of the pocket a little bit, so he couldn't really set his feet to throw the football. But, I mean, just watching him. He hasn't made that many mistakes. I mean, he's still, methodically going down the field. So even though that play was off a little target, he's been playing great this whole game.
Ellis sending Hoth in motion. Handoff's going to go to Gant. He's got some space, keeps pushing forward, moving those legs.
Yeah. Just
about a yard shy of first down.
Yeah, just love what Gant is doing. I mean, he's doing a great job. Look how big he is. He's physical. And watch what you're doing. When you run this inside zone, it's just straight downhill. I'm running straight through your face. I'm not making a move, and I double dog dare you to tackle me because they're just physical. They're punishing this front and getting to the second level of the secondary and just making those good runs.
Power run game is how Eddie George said that he wanted the offense to identify. That's what he wanted the offensive identity to be, was power run game with elements of a triple option.
Yeah, it just reminds me of when I played here in 1999. We had a great offensive line. We had Bruce Matthews, we had Brad Hopkins, we had Benji Olsen, and we wanted to take your will. I mean, that's exactly what they want to do. So you got this offensive line, with Smith and Meadows and Freeman. They're imparting that same DNA that we're going to take your will, and that's exactly what they're doing against the Devils.
So it'll be a first down and 10 here for the Tigers. Fresh set, moving the chains. Methodical so far on this drive. We'll see about the explosiveness. We mentioned how Coach Partridge said he wants to see 10 explosive plays. I think they've had 3 so far, looking for another one there. Almost had it. It was just off the key there for Davis.
It was there. I mean, he put the ball where only receiver can catch it, but it's just like what we saw earlier when Dean on the first drive, he caught a slant, he take it to the distance. If he catches this football, we will see another explosive play, but you got to come up with the catch.
Ellis dealing with 3 receivers toward the bottom of your screen. Handoff's going to go to Evans, and not much going there for Evans. C.J. Evans coming in from Austin Peay. Guy that 3-year starter there, finished with over 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. Sidelined last year, though, after 3 games because of an injury.
Yeah, I mean, they ran the outside zone right there and he didn't get any yards, but he's still a good physical runner. I mean, you just look at what he's doing. I mean, he made 1 cut and go. Even though he got 1 yard, it still was okay.
Eric Campbell in there on the tackle, 25 tackles a year ago. 215-pound senior from Memphis, Tennessee. Here's Ellis looking deep, and that's going to be broken up. Was looking there for Jalal Dean.
Yep. I mean, right there, I mean, there's a situation to where, you got to put that little bit on the receiver. If we can go back to the play, the wide receiver has to give the quarterback some space on the sidelines. There was no window, no pocket for him to see it, so he's got to be able to do a better job in that aspect.
Mitchell, number 25, same guy that was fiery a couple plays ago that we mentioned about freshman, and we just saw it again. So I kind of like the energy that he's bringing. The redshirt freshman is, despite his team, being down 31-0.
I mean, you can build from that because you got guys that won't quit even in the face of adversity. So even though they're down 31-0, they still have a little fight in them.
31-0. The Tigers lead the Delta Devils.
Timeout on the field.
11 minutes to work with here in the third. It's Week 1 John Merritt Classic here in Nashville at Nissan Stadium.
Home and business.
Back here at the home of the Titans. Well, it's the Tigers acting like a big titan of industry, so to speak. Titan on the football field, leading the Delta Devils 31-0, 11 minutes to play in the third.
They're looking real good. I mean, were you surprised about this, about 31? I thought it was going to be a little closer because it's the first game and, a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties and, fumbles everywhere. But in actuality, the defense has played a clean game.
They have, and the chemistry that has happened with the transfer portal, the new guys that have come in, and how everybody seems to be on the same page, that's something that's not to be taken lightly, as that was overthrown. Because in today's world, with the transfer portal, you're always seeing roster turnover. Frankly, if you're successful on the field or not, you're going to see a roster turnover because certain guys are going to get mad or think they have a better opportunity, or NIL starts playing in, whatever.
Yeah.
So you have the chemistry component, and that's where TSU has really thrived. Brandon Fisher, third year as defensive coordinator. Partridge coming in, first year as offensive coordinator. And, of course, Eddie, the steadying force that's been here along with his other assistants. And they've been able to really gear that chemistry along with the players that have really taken a leadership role as well.
And I think that's a great observation. You said the key word chemistry because you can have a lot of great players but don't have chemistry. It won't work. But just watching the defense, look, this is what I'm talking about. Look how many guys are to the ball. I was just about to give a compliment, but look how many hats are to the football. But they're still aggressive. They're still fighting. They're still getting off blocks, and they still have about 6 or 7, hats to the football. It just shows you. And I know I keep reiterating this. Look at the attitude. There's just a different attitude, a different fight in this team. You got Eric George that's playing the defensive end, and he's consistently in the backfield. You got different guys that are flying around to the football.
Eric George, there you see him wearing number 44, son to Eddie George, the head coach here. Eric loves that weight room. Went from 250 to 275.
First time out of the half.
I'm going to tell you a story about
Mississippi Valley State, 30 seconds.
And so, he was talking about the fact that he really likes the weight room. Bench press 225 pounds 23 times just because of, let's just do it. Let's go in there. Let's have a good time. And the question was, all right, well, what do you want to get to? He said 35 times to be able to bench press that. You want to take a guess what a squat is?
I say about 605.
Oh, really? Well, okay, then he's going to let you. He's 530.
Oh, wow.
All right, he's got some work to do there.
Can I tell you a story about him? I coach at Montgomery Bell Academy, and when he first came in as 9th grader, I said he'll never play. Never play. He will run, sprint, and then be tired and sit out on the sidelines. But when I tell you, I want all the listeners to really listen to when I say this. If you stick to the program, if you listen to coaching, and you be coachable, you be respectful, you work hard in the weight room, you don't cry, you don't pout, you can do some great things. He went from I didn't think he was ever going to play, to becoming a captain for the NBA. That just shows you if you work and you dedicate yourself in doing it the right way, you can become a captain or do some things great. And he has a chance to play in the NFL in the next couple of years.
Here the handoff comes, and again, a bunch of blue jerseys in on it, but flags are coming out. Sanders Ellis was in on that, the freshman from right here in Nashville. Really think that he'll develop into a true playmaker. Let's see what they say.
Personal foul, blindside block, offense, number 13, 15-yard penalty, third down.
Yeah, you just can't do this. I mean, I know the refs are really. Oh, that's kind of close. He still has his shoulders a little upfield. I mean, I know that the refs called it, but in my opinion, I think that's a bad call. I mean, because it's It's just kind of hard to say because it really wasn't a vicious block. If it's a vicious block, then I say you call it, but you can't do it. That's this bad call on my part.
So it's a 3rd down and 18 for the Delta Devils. Williams back, and he is going to lose the football. Was he down first? They're going to say yes. Nope, another flag. And there was Tyler Moore, freshman from Georgia.
Man, let me tell you something. I've been around a lot of Tigers defense, and I know this opponent is okay. But when I tell you that they're physical, when I tell you that they're hustling to the ball, when I tell you that they are getting after some folk, I'm telling you, when they start playing those teams like SEMO and playing, North Dakota State next week, if they be physical like this, I promise you they're going to be back.
There's no foul on the play for a face mask. Result of the play is 4th down.
There you see Brandon Fisher, the defensive coordinator. We've talked before about him being fired up. He's fired up here as his defense has a 4th and 26 that he has made them stand up here against the Delta Devils. And what's interesting, you mentioned North Dakota State, preseason number 2 in the national polls. You're going to face them next. And so might be a couple little things that the Tigers haven't shown you.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So you're excited about what you're seeing.
Absolutely.
You may not even be seeing everything.
It's going to be. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be a physical game, and who's going to outsmart each other on offense and defense.
Johnson backs up and from the 40-yard line grabs it. Now cross midfield to the 40 and brought down at about the 37-yard line.
You got holding.
So they're going to discuss it.
I think they were holding on the perimeter. Gunner.
Let's see if that is against Mississippi Valley State. It is a 31-0 Tigers lead, and let's see what they have.
During the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, 10-yard penalty. Be 1st down, Tennessee State. Timeout on the field.
So a break on the field, we'll grab it as well. Tigers roaring here in week 1.
I'm your football-obsessed best man, and I think you having your big day during the big game is the worst. What, are you kidding me? Physically, I'm right here, but mentally, I'm here. Yeah, I do. Come on, speed it up. When all eyes are on you, my eyes are glued to the game. Touchdown, yeah. And if you didn't bundle your home and auto insurance, well, all of this could be tough to tackle. So get Allstate and
Reach higher.
Lots of discussions on the field. Tigers, nice start to their season so far, 31-0. Of course, I'm sure the offense would like to tack on a little bit more. The defense pitching a shutout as Ellis comes back out onto the field. First time this spring that he's really had a team to himself, so to speak. He's been the leader. He's been the guy.
Yeah. I mean, he is. I mean, you want to be a quarterback that takes ownership of your offense. But if you can't take ownership of your offense, if you're consistently going in and out, so now he's comfortable, now he's poised to have a great season. I love what he's doing. Look at what he's doing right now. He's making sure everybody's in the right position and just going methodically down the field.
Here's Ellis. He'll hand it off to Evans. Evans pushing it forward a few yards before he is brought down. And we were talking about explosive plays and how important they are to this new offense for Eddie George's squad. So far, we have 4 explosive plays. They said they wanted 10. Still some work to do.
Yeah, but look at the explosive plays. What, 50-yard touchdown, 70-yard pass, 46-yard defense, scoop and score, 31-yard TD pass on 4th and 3. So when you have a situation like that, you have an explosive plays, it just opens it up for everything.
There's Ellis. He'll hand it off. And forward again.
And you know what's so cool about the whole situation? There's a slew of running backs. I mean, you got Jordan Gann, you got Jalen Rose, you got so many guys. So the depth that you have at this running back, it just makes it so special.
And they each bring something a little bit different to the table, which makes it that much trickier for the opposing defense when you're constantly moving backs in and out of, all right, shoot, now we got to change our look because they're bringing in a power back or they're bringing in a back that, you know, has a little bit more versatility, etc.
Yeah, that's a great job. I mean, it's a great analysis because there's different guys that can run the inside zone better than the outside zone. So when you have a variety of backs, it just makes it special. We just saw this play earlier.
Indeed. Johnson able to haul it in this time down to the 40-yard line before he's brought down. So another big play, big chunk of yardage for the Tigers.
Yeah, but it's just a slant play from the number 2 receivers run the slot. He don't even make his read. He just throws it to the wide receiver, catch it. Let's go eat and get some yards, yak after catch. So it just shows you, just take what the defense give you. You're going to cover 0, and you just throw the ball to your receiver and let him make plays.
He just burned his guy and was able to pick up some yardage. Here's Hoth, the tight ends. Not much going there for Hoth, and not much so far from the tight ends. That's been a spot that they're happy with. They like what Hoth is. He's a sophomore from Columbia, Tennessee. They like what he brings as he's going to, looks like, pop off the field here momentarily.
Yeah, and
but he's one of their go-tos.
Yeah, he is. And the thing about it is the reason why you're probably not hearing so much about him is because of the personnel.
Sure.
They're going a lot of 10 personnel empty. When I say 10 personnel, that's 1 back, 0 tight end, and 4 wide receivers. So it eliminates a tight end. So he's not in the game because I think, the offensive coordinator, Partridge, is trying to spread this defense out and keep him off balance.
Here's Gant as he sprints forward, has some space, still on his feet, and down to about the 25-yard line before he is corralled.
Man, just a great job by Gant. I mean, I just love what he does. And what he does, he just sticks his foot down in the inside zone. He runs, and he goes. He gets to the next level. He bursts, jump cut, let's eat and let's go. You just love what he does.
Little stop move.
I'm getting all excited, man. I'm going to tell you something. I love the power backs. I love the jump cut. I love what he does when he runs inside zone and outside zone because he gets to the second level and he's trying to run through your lips. That's what I love about him.
1st and 10 from the Delta Devil 26, and another completion here from Ellis. That's going to be to Jalal Dean, who continues to have a big game for the Tigers.
Oh, love what Dean is doing. Here's what I love about a wide receiver, because I coach wide receivers at Montgomery Bell Academy, and I always tell the wide receiver to sell the 9. When I say sell the 9, that means I want him to think he's going deep every single time, and that's exactly what we saw with Dean. He sold the 9 route, he ran the curl route, came back to the ball, first down.
Just over 6 minutes to play here in quarter number 3. Ellis going to have that one swatted away.
I think
over 300 yards already for the junior quarterback, 20 of 31, and 3 touchdowns. Looking for some more.
I know you want to be kind of aggressive.
He's talking to the official a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is what a leader does.
Yeah, he does. But if I'm the offense coordinator right now, I'm running the ball. I'm not passing the ball because I want to take some time off the clock and keep guys healthy. You don't have a situation to where you have Ellis gets hit or a tight end gets hit or a receiver gets hit, one of your starting guys, because you got to go to North Dakota State next week, who are some straight-up dogs. So be smart, run the ball, and stay in bounds and let the clock run out.
That's what they do to Gant as he takes it. And he'll be brought down there by Chauncey Triplett, junior from Macon, Mississippi.
Yeah, you just run the outside zone right there. But look at the offensive line. I mean, they're out there blocking. I know he didn't get that many yards, but when you have big fellas up there in the trenches blocking, you just want to take what the defense gives you.
So it'll be a 4th down and 3. Looks like they're going to go ahead and keep the offense in there with Ellis. Split back situation for the Tigers quarterback. He's back, has some time, and had Evans into and out of his hands. You see Evans frustrated with himself.
Yeah.
He had some daylight, too.
He had some daylight, but they threw it in the wrong place. It hit his hands, but no, I'm just kidding. But You got to catch that. And the one thing I love about what the offense is doing is they're running a lot of man beaters. When I say they run a lot of man beaters, is they run a lot of crossing routes, a lot of pick routes, and that's why you're seeing a lot of the wide receivers getting open.
So he's kind of frustrated with himself, kind of hit his shoulder pads a couple times as he walks down the sidelines.
Yeah, but he'll get it. I mean, when you're a receiver, you got to have.
Well, he has a track record.
He's got,
from Austin Peay. He's got a couple big time seasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 for Mississippi Valley State from their own 19-yard line. So a long field that they've got to go with. Shuttled over and nothing going here, and that's going to be a loss for DeFabian Fant. Last year had a couple hundred yards, almost 300 yards, couple touchdowns. His family have all been Delta Devils, so through and through is what Coach Wade said, and there you see again that defense just all over him. But for Fant, grandfather went and played there, and dad went and played at Mississippi Valley State. So third generation right here.
Third generation, that's a legacy, and he's keeping that legacy alive. But I want to talk about that defense once again. When we talk about setting the edge, they set the edge to where there's nowhere to run for the running back, and that's why the defense is playing so well.
Now, racing out is Sisk, and at about the 25-yard line, he'll be brought down.
Look at the coaches on the sidelines. I mean, they're still engaged in this thing. I mean, I know it's 31-0.
And it's 4 minutes to go in the third. There's still plenty of time in this game.
I know, but Brandon Fisher's going crazy. Joe Bowden's going crazy. Everybody's going crazy. I mean, you got...
Well, you don't want to let up.
I know, yeah.
Not the third.
That's a great point. I mean, but the reason why I brought that point out is because they're still fiery. I mean, you can be lax and say, okay, we're up 31-0. Look at Eddie George right here like, come on, man, we got to keep playing football because we still got a fourth quarter.
Here's Sisk. He works it over to the right side, and that's going to be a complete pass to Carrick Ross.
We haven't said his name all day.
Well, it's Jackson Davis about, and Coach Wade was talking about how Davis, best player in the SWAC, and a guy that could have potential to roll it up to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, look at the stats that he had last year. He had 36 catches, 406 for 2 TDs, so he's one of those guys that can catch the ball and have yards after catch to make some plays downfield. So you got to give him the football, but he's been very, very quiet today.
Handoff here. Nice gain before being brought down.
And let me clarify that. I know sometimes we wonder why they're not throwing the football. The reason why they're probably not throwing the football is because there's so much edge pressure coming, off the tighter position. So he probably has to stay in the block as opposed to, running on the pass route.
Sisk barking out the plays. Gain here of a couple of yards for Jacoby Thomas, the running back, 6'1", 240 pounds, out of Kissimmee, Florida.
And he had nowhere to go. Because right when he got the football in his hands, you got 5 and 6, Tigers out there trying to get him.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 5 from their own 34-yard line. Just under 2 minutes to play here in the third. Tigers dominating. First game of the season for both these teams. Sisk has a bit of time. High throw there as he was looking to Cameron Nelson.
Yeah, we got a penalty. I think hitting the quarterback low.
Talking about Cameron Nelson, number 17 for Mississippi Valley State. We'll go back to that in a second, but first we'll take a look at the hit here on Sisk.
Yeah. He got tripped up, but you can't do it. He went low. So
personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 5, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That was Jalen Bell who was called on that. Eddie George patrolling the sidelines. We're talking about number 17, Cameron Nelson for Mississippi Valley State. And in talking to Eddie George about Mississippi Valley State, said much better than his tape.
Yeah.
Good hands, speed, super fast guy. junior from Texarkana, Texas, 6'1", $190, so still has body to fill out.
Yeah, I mean, but there's one thing I love about him. I went and watched some film on him. This guy's a good route runner. We always talk about, a receiver being a technician and understanding how to burst off the cutting line with your eyes. I mean, he's very, very, very good at what he does.
Defensive line, again, swarming. Talking to Brandon Fisher, defensive coordinator of the Tigers, he said as a unit, and Eddie George also said this, as a unit, the defensive line this year, better than last year, even though they subtracted Terrell Allen, bounced out, transfer portal, went to Tulane, starting at Tulane.
Yeah.
So, he had a chance to move. He took it. But as a unit, sure, you don't want to lose Terrell Allen. That's a huge issue. But as a unit, the defensive line has actually gotten better. Tip of the cap to the coaching staff on that.
They have, and you just keep saying that key word is unit. I mean, when you had Allen, he was just one ball wrecking machine. Dude, he's that guy. Yep. But when you have one guy as opposed to 4 and 5 guys, that defense is better because not just because they have a good player, they have 4 and 5 good players, and that's what makes the difference.
Sanders Ellis, number 12, you just saw on your screen. One of those good players in the making. Freshman. So Sisk able to complete that one to who else but Nelson.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about him a little bit earlier in the show, and just a good route that he ran. We run a curl route. And as we talk about running a curl, you got to sell the 9 and change your mind. When I say change your mind, that means I'm making you think that I'm going deep, and that's exactly what he did in the play. He sold the 9 route, stopped on the dime, caught the pass, got out of bounds, and just stopped the clock.
Here's Sisk. He has plenty of time and able to complete the pass. A little bit of a low throw there to Carrick Ross, who was able to get it, but throw had been elevated, might have had a chance to push it a little bit.
Yeah, it was a low throw. Low throw.
So that's the end of quarter number 3. Neither team scored anything, but the Tigers maintain their 31-0 lead going into the 4th here in Nashville.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
Visit shelterinsurance.com and switch today.
Back here in Nashville, that's that Batman building, they call it, right?
Yeah.
Here in downtown Music City. TSU blanking Mississippi Valley State 31-0 as we enter the final stanza here in Nashville. Music playing, the TSU band. They've won a couple Grammys, the TSU band has. They've been enjoying themselves here this evening.
You better believe Brandon Fisher wants to get a goose egg on this. That's probably what
at this point, yes. At this point, you have the 4th quarter. You absolutely, I would assume, if you're him, want that.
But
it'll also be interesting to see how many guys maybe they do try to bring in some other pieces just to get some game experience. As there you see Fisher patrolling the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, even though you're up 31-0, you want to get some of your starters out and let the backups get some experience because you might need them later on during the season.
And there's a big stuff and a stop. That's That's coming from Emmanuel Baez, senior from Florida.
Yeah. And you know what was different about this defense than last year? I mean, there's not a lot of penalties. I mean, if you look at last year, there was a lot of pushing after the play and a lot of knee guys. Now you have a unit and guys working together in unison. The defense is playing up to their capability because it's not a lot of me guys, it's a lot of we guys.
Zisk has plenty of time and able to find his receiver down to the 5 and pushing into the end zone. That's going to be a touchdown for Carrick Ross, the glue man on the team, coming through for the Delta Devils and getting them on the board here in the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is there's no quit in this team. We talked about it a little earlier. And he just ran the perfect route. The quarterback just looks, he throws a little swing pass to him. He catches the football, and that's all she wrote. So we always talk about receivers having yards after catching. That's exactly what we saw with your receiver.
He might have injured his ankle on that one. Was kind of hobbling a bit off the field. Must not be too bad. Big smile on his face. That's good to see from anybody. The senior from Itabena, Mississippi. Now you see a bunch of flags roiling out there.
Yeah, but they're still fighting this team. I mean, it just shows you the character of this team. They're down 31-0. They're still fighting to get in the end zone. You know, I know it's 13:45 left in the game, and they're still fighting.
Offside, defense, number 2, moving the neutral zone, causing an offensive player's reaction. Half the distance, the try will be for the 1.5 yard line.
Did you go for 2? Why not?
I mean, you're down, 31-6. I don't really know the point. I mean, I guess if you want to.
Hey, you still got
but how demoralizing would it be if you then miss that?
I know. That's a great point. That's a great point.
I don't know. That's why I'm up here. You put me on the spot. The hold, the kick, and it's good. So see, they got the 1. So it's a 31-7 Tennessee State lead on Mississippi Valley State. Just under 14 to play here in Nashville.
On the field.
Explore the past with the Kentucky Historical Society. Take a day trip to the capital city of Frankfort and visit the Kentucky History Center and museums. One ticket gives you access to 3 sites and endless Kentucky stories. Members receive great benefits like free admission and unlimited access to resources, both in person and online. Your support helps important programs like Kentucky History Education.
It's
Fidelity Bank, you're in.
Looking at the tablet, he said that he likes that idea, gives him just more information, but his team no longer pitching a shutout.
Yeah, I mean, he's upset. I mean, look at him. He's a guy that's a competitor. I know they were up 31-0. They wanted to have a goose egg because he takes pride in shutting down offenses.
But he's instilling that into his players. Could you see a couple of them were frustrated as they were coming off the field. There you see Brandon talking with Coach George.
Yeah, they're just creating a culture of, man, we're going to do it right if we're up 50-0 or 60-0. We're going to do it right from offense, defense, and special teams. So, you know, just like what we talked about earlier, it's creating a culture. He's creating a culture of disciplined, fast football players that do the right thing at all times.
And Johnson's going to let that one go into the end zone. So let's take a look at our upcoming schedule for TSU, which is presented by Sunbelt Bakery, the tastiest flavors under the sun. And there you see the next 3 games at North Dakota State. That's going to be a tough one next week, September 7th, and then versus Arkansas Pine Bluff and at Tennessee Tech. Next week, though, big circle on the old calendar, as we mentioned a little bit ago. North Dakota State, preseason number 2 in the national rankings. So that's going to be a real measuring stick for the season, especially as this looks now, coming out of this. Then you go there. What type of game do you put up against a team that you know is tough and obviously nationally recognized?
You're going to see what you're made of because they're physical, they're fast like you are. But I know one game that they're circling is Tennessee Tech because last year they embarrassed them on this field right here. I think it was 35-0. So, you know, they're licking their chops on that
game of the year.
And last game of the year. So they got to make plays.
Speaking of making plays, here off to the races is Karate Brinson. He's still on his feet before being pushed out of bounds after a huge pickup.
Man, just a great job of Karate Brinson. We talked about this earlier in the broadcast, and we need him to step up because last year, you he was a guy that was kind of inconsistent, but now he's making plays. But now here's Ellis just looking and surveying, and he's keeping his eyes upfield. He throws it to Karate Benson. He turns, he spins, and it's off to the races. And that's exactly what we want to see with Karate Benson.
Chauncey Triplett chasing him down. So it'll be a 1st and 10 from the Delta Devils 20. And here is going to be Rouse bouncing toward the outside, and he's into the end zone. Chalk up another touchdown for the Tigers.
Man, just a great job all the way around. I mean, we talk about the run, but I want you to watch the block by the wide receiver on the perimeter. I mean, look at the coach. They're getting excited. They're not letting the gas off the pedal because they want to be consistent, and they want to show you that we're going to fight you 4 quarters. Watch, this is what we talk about. Watch the run. I know we're talking about the run, but watch the block by the wide receiver on the perimeter. Bam, there it is. There it is.
Able to cut Rouse out. Yep. Able to give him that extra space, that extra angle.
Yep.
Toward the end zone.
I mean, but here's the deal. I know that's a cliche thing, but we're watching everybody do their job. I mean, we got a receiver on the perimeter.
Well, when you have to score what it is. I mean, it's kind of, again, cliches. They're there for a reason.
But he could have...
So it's 38-7. TSU, the Tigers, all smiles here in the 4th, week 1 of the season in Nashville.
Place in the limelight.
There you see the Aristocratic bands. They've been playing all night. They've had a lot to play for. Won a couple Grammys. They're having a good time. Maybe look a little tired because they've just been playing so much. 38-7. The Tigers lead the Delta Devils here with just north of 13 minutes to play in the game.
Yep, and we just talked about it earlier that we want to see how many is that, 6 or 7 explosive plays. I mean, we're almost there, but it just shows you methodically that they're a balanced team. I mean, they can run the ball, they can pass the ball, they can do the inside zone, outside zone, get the ball to the wide receivers, make explosive plays down the field, and you just have a complete offense. I know it's the first game. I know we're going against Mississippi Valley, Devils, but when you go against North Dakota State and you do the exact same thing, then you're going to put yourself in position with the OVC.
And Lowry's kick will go into the end zone. Take a look at a couple of the numbers from the offensive side of things for TSU. Ellis, 21 of 33, 356 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dean, 9 catches, 144 yards, and a score. Karate Brinson, couple catches, 86 yards, and a score. And Jalen Rouse just was able to hit pay dirt. Couple carries, 23 yards on the night for him. Jordan Gant, 39 yards for him. But just everywhere number-wise that you look at, which, I mean, it's indicative because of what you look at when you take a gander at the score, but the Tigers have had a complete game. First downs, edge to the Tigers, 18-10. I mean, I guess one thing you could look at is in the second half, we're all tied up at 7 apiece.
Yeah, but here's the thing about the whole situation is they're protecting the football. I mean, if you look at an offense, you look at last year, I mean, they were throwing interception, guys were fumbling, and guys were just all over the place. I know we had a crazy interception. Yeah, that's great. But Ellis in this offense is protecting the football. You don't want to have turnovers.
So a personal foul, hands to the face. So we'll walk this one down. You can see Eddie George there shaking his head.
You know the reason why he's shaking his head? Because he knows that when he plays North Dakota State next year, you can't have these type of penalties. You can't have these things against an elite offense and against an elite defense. So he understands the task at hand to where you can't do this when you're playing North Dakota State.
So it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Delta Devils. And not much going here. You take a look at the history of Mississippi Valley State. Jerry Rice went there. Mr. World.
Yeah. Ashley Ambrose for the Cincinnati Bengals. Played against him, ate him up for a couple of touchdowns.
Okay.
I did, but yeah, that sounds kind of bad, don't it?
Jerry and Eddie George, that is, the head coach of TSU, didn't overlap. Jerry's about 10 years older than Eddie, but Eddie said at the end of his career, he did get a chance to go and train with Jerry Rice.
Oh, my gosh, you don't want to do that.
Out in San Francisco, and said that was one heck of an experience for him, as that there is complete to number 9.
Yeah.
Cameron Gardner. But Eddie was saying it was a real eye-opener, and he said, they maintain their relationship. They maintain a bit of a friendship, and then a couple of weeks ago he saw him at a card signing, and Jerry was up in the air about maybe coming to this game. I've not seen Jerry tonight, so I don't know if he made his way here to the Music City, but I know Eddie was saying he was hoping that Jerry Rice would make his way here, and Jerry Rice has a jam-packed schedule, which you would imagine a guy of his stature would, regarded as one of the best, if not the best, receiver ever to play the game.
I'll never forget when we played the San Francisco 49ers, I sat there and watched him. I watched him warm up. I watched him, stretch, because I wanted to see what it took to be a great wide receiver. Everything he did had a system. To go get water, to where he was stretching, to where he caught balls, to everything he did it as a true professional. So as I watched him, as I'm warming up, I said, if I can learn from him, take a little tidbit from him, I can up my game, and that's exactly what it did.
Yeah, as a receiver, I'm sure that's one of the guys that you really wanted to hone in on.
And the one thing I learned about him, I know we're talking about the game, but the one thing I learned about Jerry Rice is he made every route look the same. When I say every route looked the same, he based every route off the line.
The quarterback was outside the pocket, and the receiver in the area. It's third down.
Yeah, and when we when I run a route and I teach my receivers, I tell them to base it off the 9 route and change your mind. So if I got a curl route, I'm selling the 9 route, then I stop at the curl. So I took what he did, and I applied to what I teach my receivers with, and that's how you get better.
Yeah, Jerry Rice did at Mississippi Valley State from 81 to 84. NCAA all-time leader in a bunch of categories. Was the 16th pick. I did not look to see. I did not look to see who the other 15 before him was. Here, long pass, and is that complete? Yes, it is. Touchdown, and that's Ross again. Carrick Ross able to haul that one in. They're going to say actually down at the 1.
Yeah, I mean that's
thought he had gotten into the end zone.
I did too. I mean, he's your playmaker from last year. I mean, last year, he had 32 catches for 338. I mean, he's 5'11", 185. So he's one of those speedsters and made a good play. So that's the kind of catch that you want on your team.
He's fired up. So it'll be first and goal from the 1. Sisk asking for some tutelage. And so there will be a timeout.
Second charge, timeout.
Coach Wade wanting to discuss things.
In 30 seconds.
Coach Wade doesn't have captains, but he has a leadership council, the Black Mamba group, named after Kobe.
That's pretty cool.
And it's 8 different guys. They have weekly meetings just to really, he said, get the temperature of the team in the locker room, get the tone, get what guys are liking, not liking. He said everybody has an open door to come in to talk to him, but he said it's just these guys in particular come in, and as a group, they sit there and talk about what's working, what's not working, what they want to change, and then he kind of puts it all in his mind and decides what he's going to implement and what he says, okay.
Yeah, but you know what's cool about it is he's not just developing the football player, he's developing the man. I mean, it goes beyond to just being a captain or being a football player, but when you start developing man, then they become great football players. Why? Because you have everybody on board.
There you see total yards, 438
That's a lot of yards.
to a $199. Big edge to the Tigers, to Roar City.
Just a little bit.
So first and goal here at the 1. Trying to sneak his way into the end zone and getting in there is Jacoby Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, just have the back offset, have the back offset to the left, and all you do is just grab the ball and just be a wildcat and just go in there and score a touchdown. I mean, this is a great play call by their coach.
There's an injury timeout. Can't see from our angle here who's down.
I think it's Nelson.
Yeah, number 7. Ahmad Ahmad Nelson, senior from Birmingham, Alabama. Guy that's really looked at as the quote-unquote quarterback of the defense. So
yes.
we hope that this is not something that is real bad. Good news is he's getting up under his own power and seemingly walking off now. He's saying, no, I got this. I don't need it.
Yeah,
help. So that's good.
He's the quarterback of the defense. Last year he had 24 tackles, and he's 6'2", 225. So when you're the Mike backer, I mean, he puts everybody in place. So that you don't want that to be a big blow with him down.
And it looks like he kind of picked up his speed a little bit as he came off the field. So again, that's good news. Went to a little bit of pain, but
I'm glad he's okay.
So 38-13, Tennessee State up on Mississippi Valley State as the extra point is up, and it is good. So it's a 38-14 TSU lead here in week one. Tigers looking to start it out 1-0 this year.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to over.
She's excited. She has the TSU colors on here, week one. Bopping to the band, the Aristocrat of Bands. TSU up 38-14 on Mississippi Valley State. And biggest focus for Mississippi Valley State, how do they respond to adversity? That was what Coach Wade said. What say you here as we're midway through the fourth?
I think they responded pretty good because if they will quit on your coach, that means nobody's invested in. But just watching them, they're still trying to make plays. They're still trying to score touchdowns. They're still fighting on defense. So even though they're down 38-14, they're still fighting this team.
Johnson back deep for the Tigers. So it looks like they'll have to take it at about the 2. Not ideal.
Yeah.
Kick out of bounds.
No, it's a penalty.
The ball being placed at the 35-yard line.
35.
It's first down.
See, those are little things you talk about. You score a touchdown, and then you kick it out of bounds, and then it started at the 35.
35, yeah.
So
there you see the passing numbers. 21 of 33, 356 yards, 3 touchdowns. Talk about spreading the wealth, and that was something else that they talked about, the coaches this week. 7 different receivers with a catch, 3 receivers with a touchdown. Then you look at Dean, 9 catches, 144 yards, and a score. So they have done and lived up to what they wanted to accomplish. Maybe not quite as many explosive plays as they wanted, not quite, even though they did have some. But they were able to spread the wealth, get it done on the passing side. They were able to do some things on the running side.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of candy in the candy store. I mean, you got 2 running backs. You got Gant and Rouse, and you got receivers. You got Dean. You got Karate Benson. You got a lot of explosive players out there. And I think the key as a quarterback or a offensive coordinator, I got to put guys in position to excel, and that's exactly what we saw with Coach Partridge.
There's McGill, another one of the running backs. You know, when talking to Eddie, he said he's really looking for an alpha to step up on the running back side. That sure, they have a deep roster of running backs, but he said he really wants one guy to step up and be the guy.
Yeah.
And then sure, we have a couple others behind it, but he wants one guy to step up and really make an impact and be a force.
And then I think
and here
maybe
is McGill down to the 40, still on his feet, pushing down to the 30-yard line before he's tackled by a few of the Delta Devils.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you the slew of running backs. And we're just going to watch the play over again, but just watch what he does. Look at what McGill does. He takes the inside zone, he sticks his foot in, he plants, he gets to the second level, and he's looking to run somebody over.
Face mask, defense, number 16, 15-yard penalty, includes an automatic first down.
Deshari Keith called on that. The junior from Daytona Beach, Florida, called for the face mask. Transfer from Wagner.
And, you know, when we talk about, finding that running back, the only way you're going to try to find that running back is when you get into a tough game who has a hot hand. And the kid that has a hot hand, that's who I'm going to consistently be out there. I mean, you got some guys. You got Rouse, you got Gant, you got McGill. You got a slew of running backs. So at the end of the day, which kid is going to take ownership of that position?
There for a couple yards. Again, McGill. We saw Evans get some time tonight. He's a guy that the coaching staff's really high on. And then Gant and Rouse are returning players. Gant starting the game, Rouse returning after initially entering the transfer portal. And then also a couple of other running backs on the roster that they're hopeful and happy with. And if you didn't catch the beginning part of the game, Eddie George saying this is the deepest team he's had, not just at one or two positions, but as a squad. He looks at just about every position and is happy with the 2 deep, 3 deep. Said maybe linebacker is a spot they could use a little bit more depth. Yeah, but he said other than that, he's pretty pleased with what they have and the guys that they have at each of these spots. As there you see a chunk of yardage picked up. As Tevin Carter.
Yeah, I was just about to say his name. I mean, they're raving about this kid.
Out of Memphis.
I mean, so you got depth there also at the quarterback position.
6'3", 230 pounds.
He's a big man at quarterback. And he's rangy and he's long. And we always talk about a quarterback standing tall in the pocket. I mean, with his size and his longness, I just think that, if Ellis was to go down, I think they'd be in good hands.
He's a guy that's looked at as an extension of the coaching staff, is what Coach Partridge said. And that's obviously a huge accolade to get from your coach. Flag here. Rouse took the carry, and we'll see what the official has.
Illegal formation, offense, more than 4 in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So they'll back that up. There's Tevin Carter. A little bit of biographical info on him, what he's bringing to the table.
And you get a good compliment when you say that, the coach has said that you're a second coach. What does that mean? That means I know what every position is. I know where the blitz is coming from. I know, what to do to orchestrate this team to get into the end zone. So that's a great compliment from your coach.
Now they're taking a gander back. Now it looks like Carter is ready to go. 6:40 to play here in this one. Carter looking out to the short side. That's going to be Rouse, staying on his feet, still trying to get a few more yards out of it.
Yeah, but and the smart thing that he did, I mean, I know stayed in bounds. Come on, Coach. I love it, Coach. You got to stay in bounds. And, the reason why you stay in bounds is because you want to let the clock run out. You want to get out of here, healthy. I understand you want to finish. I understand you want to play big boy ball. But at the end of the day, you want to go into North Dakota State healthy, running back, receiver-wise, and offensive line-wise.
38-14, TSU leading Mississippi Valley State here in week 1. As Lowry will come on for the field goal attempts. He does have one made here this evening from 20 yards out at the other end of the stadium. And this time he's able to put it through, tack on 3 more, and the Tigers
timeout on the field,
dominating the Delta Devils 41-14 here on the first game of the season.
I'm your football-obsessed best man, and I think you having your big day during the big game is the worst. What, are you kidding me? Physically, I'm right here.
There's Eddie George. I was going to say all smiles, but not so much. 41-14, TSU has the lead here over Mississippi Valley State. There's a smile. There's a smile from Eddie.
He's not going to smile to his 0, 0, 0, and an extra 0.
Still have 5:43 to play in this one. His team looking good in pretty much all facets of tonight's game. If you had to pick out a spot that you're like, something that they need to work on, want to work on, should work on before the North Dakota State game. What are you looking at?
I just think the linebacker position, kind of what you said, because let's start with offense. Offense, you got two quarterbacks. Let's go to the offensive line. The offensive line did an outstanding job, and then you got receivers with Dean and Karate Brinson. Then you go to the defensive side. The secondary's playing pretty good. I just think that they might be a little thin. I'm not saying athletic-wise or can play-wise. I think thin-wise at the linebacker position. But just watching overall, I mean, I love the identity of the offense. Just like you said, we're going to take some shots, but also we're going to run through your lips. I know I keep saying that term. But then on defense, we're going to run to the ball. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to do our technique. We're going to read our keys. So the identity of this defense, smart, fast, physical, and we're running to the ball. That's what I love about this team.
So it looks like it's going to be Jaden Sisk back out there for Mississippi Valley State. We've seen him in a bunch for Tajarian Williams. We saw Williams take a hard hit in the first half. And we've seen Sisk have a good chunk of time in this game. As here, he's under some pressure, and he's going to be brought down. Whew. That's Tyler Moore, the freshman from Locust Grove, Georgia, in there, and there's going to be a flag. So it could be targeting.
From up here, it didn't. I just think sometimes when we look at the viciousness of the hit, we kind of take it into targeting. So they're going to take a look at it and see what happens.
Tyler Moore, a guy that the coaching staff likes a lot, 5'10", 290
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 17, plays under review.
So that's going to be Emmanuel Baez whistled for that.
You know, just kind of looking at the film right now. I mean,
17, bottom of your screen.
Yeah, 17, and if he lunges, yes, that's targeting. Because you can't lunge, you can't leave your feet, and that's kind of what we saw on this position. Look at number 17, watch, right, lunge right there. That's what they're going to call every single time.
So the officials discussing it. I guess they're going to look at it a couple different ways, and there you see Eddie George again kind of shaking his head as he patrols.
He's upset. It can be 75-0. He just doesn't want plays like that. I mean, and listen, folks. You got to understand. He probably wasn't doing it maliciously, but it's to protect your quarterback. I mean, when you lunge and you're going to the head, they're going to call that every single time, even if you wasn't trying to be malicious.
And Baez is a senior, so he's an experienced player. It's not like he's a freshman or somebody that is new to the roster, trying to open some eyes with some coaches. He's a guy that's a senior. He's been around.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You should know. But I think sometimes when you're in the heat of the battle, you still got to be a smart player and a disciplined player. But, at the end of the day, they're going to call it every single time because, with this concussion situation going on, you have to protect, your quarterback or
After
anybody
review,
else.
the rule on targeting is confirmed. As a 15-yard penalty, it's an automatic first down. Number 17 is disqualified.
So Emmanuel Baez has been disqualified, ejected from the game.
For the next game too, right?
41-14 is the score.
What do you think about that call?
I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I think it wasn't malicious, but I think it was there.
It was there. I mean, and you have to call it, and you feel bad for the kid because if you look at it, it wasn't malicious, but it was targeting. You see,
right.
you see what I'm saying? You can't lead with your head, and that's why they're trying to protect the quarterbacks.
Well, they got to protect the quarterbacks and just protect everybody on the field.
I mean, that's a great
even
point.
him, even Baez as well. Like, you got to learn you can't do that. Even if it was just a mistake, which I'm sure it was, you got to learn that, no, that can't happen. You got to figure out a different technique.
And I agree with the rule because, with this concussion situation or protecting both sides, it's not just protecting. You made a great point. It's not just protecting the person who has the football. It's protecting the guy that's initiating the attack. So I think that's a great observation, and I'm glad that they called it.
There's Sisk, and he's going to be brought down. So actually, as checked in, is going to be Ruben Lee, junior quarterback, 6'1", 190 pounds. out of Norfolk State.
They got a lot of quarterbacks.
They do.
Yeah.
So he's the guy that is in there at this point, along with Kendall standing next to him as the running back. As we approach the 4-minute mark in this one. Not much space, ball loose. Who's got it?
Devils got it.
Number 77 fumble recovered by the offense. Second down.
Yeah, just watching the technique. And we always talk about the defensive end swiping at it. It's not that he's hitting the player. He's swiping at it. When you swipe it, you get the ball lunged out. And that's exactly what you want to do with the defense.
6'40", 330, the dude that got the ball.
Six what?
6'4", 330. There you see Reuben Lee, the junior quarterback that's in.
It's a big man.
Yeah. Huge guy.
Huge. But
so no wonder he's able to pounce on the ball and keep it.
Hey.
A massive humanity just there to...
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, this defense is flying around. I know they're 41-14, but they're acting like it's 0-0. And that's the expectation of Brandon Fisher. He said, I don't care what the quarter is. I don't care how much time is left in the clock. We're going to play till the whistle ends. And it just shows you that they're building a foundation with this defense. They're building a nastiness, a toughness. They want to be physical. They want to intimidate you on defense. And that's exactly what we're seeing with Brandon Fisher.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 17 here for the Delta Devils. Lee has some time, not much. Now he's going to be forced out of the pocket. He's going to run toward midfield, and he's still going to be short of a 1st down before he's brought down.
Yeah, I want to compliment this secondary also. I mean, the reason why these quarterbacks are running for their life is because it's a coverage sack. When I say a coverage sack, that means nobody is open downfield. So when you have your secondary that's blanketing, the wide receivers, it just makes it easy for this front to get after the quarterback.
Lee taking a few moments, looking over there toward the sidelines. And so we have 2 minutes to work with here in this game.
This is a
2-minute warning.
Timeout.
And we will take the timeouts. 41-14, TSU on top.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
Back here in Nashville, Tennessee, and that is going toward the end zone and going to be caught. Quick touchdown, quick strike there for the Delta Devils.
Man, we just talk about this team has a fight, and they're just throwing the balls deep. And the thing about it is, I just talked about the secondary by being disciplined, and that's just a great route by the wide receiver. The wide receiver, Rempert, what's his name again?
Nathan Rempert.
Yeah, but he just runs a seam route and runs underneath to catch the ball with his hand. Oh, what a catch.
Able to get there and beat a couple of Tigers. He's fired up, excited, and now he looks like he's a bit injured. See him talking to a couple of the trainers that are on the sidelines.
Looked like he hurt his leg.
For the Delta Devils. They weren't wasting any time there out of the timeout.
False start. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. The try will be from the 8-yard line.
Looked like it might have been his shoulder. You could see on the initial one, as here the kick is up and it's good. You could see he was kind of holding his shoulder, his left shoulder.
Yeah, I think he heard it went on the fall.
So it makes it 41-21. TSU leads, $1:51 to play here tonight. You look at the series between these two teams, 9th time that they've played. TSU leading the series with 5 wins to 3 losses. TSU's never visited Itabena, Mississippi, though. A lot of these games have been played in classics. Liberty Bowl, been played at the Hoosier Dome, Adelphia Stadium.
Wow, Adelphia Stadium.
Yeah, that one was in 2001.
Yeah.
So in 2019, last time they played was here at Nissan Stadium.
26-20.
TSU was able to come away with a victory. That was also the John Merritt Classic. So the second time that they have played in the John Merritt Classic then. And here tonight.
You said Adelphia Coliseum. Do you know that brings back so many memories?
Fond memories?
Fond memories in 1999 when we came here as a Houston Oilers / Titans. We came into Adelphia Field in 1999, and that was the year we went to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, Music City Miracle happened on this field. So many things that remind me when I step on this field.
Tennessee State.
Kick out of bounds. 5-yard penalty added. Kick out of bounds. Kick. First down.
There you see Coach Wade. Tennessee State going to start the year 1-0 for the first time since 2019. Now, keep in mind that was also against Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah. Head coach Reed, right?
Wade.
No.
Yes.
For
TSU.
Yes,
Yep.
Reed.
Yep.
His son is at Texas A&M playing quarterback. I think he's 2nd Street right now. So,
TSU, by the way, ranked number 8 in the preseason HBCU coaches poll and received votes in the HBCU media poll. So this team is respected, looks good, the coaches are happy with it, and tonight have put together a pretty good body of work. Maybe not as good and as crisp in the second half as here, getting a chunk of yards for TSU. Number 21.
that is
Tevin Carter.
Tevin Carter, yeah, we talked about him. What he's 6'3", 230. I mean, just a big rangy guy. You can talk about his running ability, and that's exactly what you want to have in this offense. It's kind of like, Drayden Ellis, to where if there's no read, he takes off and running. With Carter, I think he's going to be special in doing that.
So there's Carter. Craig Cunningham has also checked into the game as a running back. He's another guy that coaching staff is high on at the running back spot.
It's deep. I mean, if you want to come play running back, come to TSU, because you're going to have a chance.
And here's Carter. He's going to take it himself, gain a few yards. So the body of work tonight has been a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It's offense. I mean, the offense kind of, imposed their will on the Devils' defense. And you have our defense that was flying around and making plays and creating turnovers. You have a scoop and score by Gay. And then it just shows you when you have a complete team, you got offense, defense, and special teams, then now you can make a run, and now you can build on this game by winning, 41-21.
Still have a minute to play with here in Nashville. There's Cunningham, not much going there for him.
Nah, but just a great showing overall. I mean, just great coaching, great fire, great attitude, great identity, everything we talk about. And, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to build a culture of what you want, and I think Eddie George is building exactly what he wants to do.
So for TSU, next game will be next week at North Dakota State. Chris and I won't be back with you until September 28th.
We won't be back until the 28th of September?
28th of September against Charleston Southern.
Yeah. Man, I'm going to miss you, man.
I know. We're going to have a while here.
Absolutely. Man, that's a long time.
It is. It's next 3 games for Tennessee State are not here at Nissan Stadium because you have the Arkansas Pine Bluff game.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down. Please reset the game clock to 11 seconds. 11.
And that's being played at Memphis. And then you have the at Tennessee Tech game, which opens up conference play September 21st. And as you said, that's going to be a big one just because the way last year ended for TSU. They're going to want a little revenge. They're going to want a little statement there to open up conference play.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing about it is they got physically punished in that game. You don't believe that Brandon Fisher and Eddie George and, that coaching staff wants to get back at them because they embarrassed them on this field.
As for Mississippi Valley State, their next one's going to be at Lamar next week, and then they're at Murray State, at Nichols, before having their first home game against Alcorn State September 28th. So that's the way the next few weeks look for these teams. Final thoughts tonight when you take a look at what happened for both these squads?
Man, just a great job by this Tigers team. Offense, defense, special teams. If you look at offense, they were balanced by running, the football, power football, but then also making plays in the perimeter. Then you look at defense. When you talk about a ferocious defense, physical, fast, and everybody reading those keys, you just saw identity in the culture of what Eddie George is building.
Indeed, building. 4th year as the head coach. You see Eddie taking some time, congratulating everyone on both sides of the field, coming away with a win here tonight, setting up a nice game next week, a tough game against North Dakota State on the road. Again, that is a game against the second-ranked team in the nation, so that will be a tough task and a real measuring stick for